Welcome back, everybody, to the Fighting for Freedom podcast.
Fighting for freedom, one podcast at a time.
What up, what up? Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. And everybody, give me a round of applause and welcome my buddy Chris to the pod. Chris, how you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, Vin? Happy to be here, bro.
What's up, bro? Hey, real quick, go change because that hat is disgusting.
I got a surprise for you by the end of the podcast. By the way, you're gonna have 425 tune in. We're gonna wreck the Niners.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? I honestly do hope so, because my wife's family, they're all from California, so. And no one likes the Eagles because, like, why do you have to spell your name, like, every 10 seconds?
Excuse me?
We get it. You guys know how to spell.
Yeah. Dude, I actually, whatever. I get so much shit being from New York and being an Eagles fan, but we can dive into that. I'm also a Sixers fan, and okay. I'm a Mets fan and a Ranger fan. So does it make sense? No, not at all.
Yeah, but most New Yorkers are Ranger fans. That's just how that goes. Except for me,
Ranger fan.
I'm a big Devil fan.
I wanted to address that as well. I've seen previous podcasts wearing that, and it's kind of shameful.
I love the Devils, man. I don't know. They're that team that like they're not like good, but like they like to fight and they like to get gritty. You know what I mean? Not as much as the Flyers do, but.
Yeah, they're a bunch of scumbags. I don't mess with the Flyers.
Yeah, no one likes the Flyers, dude.
Not at all.
I think Philadelphia has like probably the worst like fan base. I heard it was Philadelphia and Boston. Like whenever the visiting team is going there, they're just like, oh, great. You know, like this.
Yeah, I seen something like that the other day. I was scrolling on Instagram and it was like people across like all the NFL teams and whatever, like who are the worst sports fans in the country, and it came up like Eagles is like number one. I'm like, good, yep, I'm gonna wear that as a badge of honor.
Well, I mean, for you, it's kind of like you're playing safe. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, good. So like they got my back. You know what I mean?
Don't hurt me. Yeah.
All right. So from Brooklyn, Staten Island, the New York area, right?
Yes, sir.
You grew up in Brooklyn, or you grew up in Staten Island?
Nah. So my mom and dad. So my mom's from Flatbush, East Flatbush, and my dad's from Marine Park. They did the typical New York migration across the bridge to Staten Island, acting like it's a different country, which it kind of is. It kind of is in its own way.
No, it is. There's less buses, less trains. Yeah,
it's kind of strange. So they migrated over there, and I was born technically in Manhattan, but I lived my younger life on Staten Island in the neighborhood called West Brighton. So anybody that's from New York, specifically Staten Island, born and raised in West Brighton. What actually drew me to your podcast, not to go off on a tangent, was I saw one of your first podcasts. It was with your cousin Dylan, who I know as Ducey. Me and Ducey got into all sorts of trouble growing up as a kid. He's a great dude. He really is. I hadn't seen him in probably since high school, to be honest, because I've been all over the place since high school, but obviously followed him on social media. I know he's a veteran, and I know he's out there doing his thing now, grinding. I'm super proud of him, by the way. But I saw his podcast with you. I was like, oh shit, Ducey's doing a podcast, and he killed it. You obviously did a great job as well, but just his story and like he does have a hell of a story to tell. He's a very modest guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. So I kind of just hit the follow, subscribe button to Fighting for Freedom. And been following your journey ever since. I'm really like, we talked offline. I'm super proud of you and what you're doing. Obviously, we've never met. I feel like I know you just because like that's like that New York vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. We from Staten Island. Like I'm from fucking. Where am I from? Westerly. I couldn't even think of the name. I was spacing out. I was fanboying so hard right there. Yeah, I'm from Westerly. You're from West Brighton. Bro, we're neighbors. That's just how it goes,
No, for real. We really are. And obviously the Italian thing is like a little added bonus. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, anybody who's Italian automatically, like, they're all family. You know what I mean? That's my cousin.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not my cousin.
No, for real. For real.
Yeah. We just went to the same deli.
Yeah, man. So I grew up on Staten Island, and I've been all over the place ever since. Obviously, we'll get into my journey. But, like 10 minutes from the Staten Island Ferry. Anybody that knows that area, obviously like Forest Avenue for like the locals, like bars, restaurants, whatever. So that's where I grew up. I went to Sacred Heart Elementary School, Played every sport under the sun, typical kid. And then I went to St. Peter's High School, all boys Catholic high school, powerhouse in a lot of sports. Also huge first responder community. Like if you're from Westerly and West Brighton and all that, like the North Shore of Staten Island,
Yes.
specifically, cops, firemen, sanitation, nurses, like just the blue collar nitty gritty Americans. And my dad was a FDNY guy, New York City firefighter. He got promoted to lieutenant right before 9/11. And so I just kind of grew up like in that culture, you know what I mean, of being like a first responder, being selfless, service before self. That's one of the Air Force core values. Not even trying to be corny, like real shit. And and then obviously being a New Yorker on 9/11, I don't care what anybody says. You just have a different opinion, a different vibe. No one can relate, and that's okay. But that impacted the rest of my life. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Definitely West Brighton is one of those communities where if you don't know it, right, you could picture it in your head. Picture driving down a street with these big old trees and these beautiful leaves and just an American flag hanging off every tree as you drive down. Like that is West Brighton. That is a real town.
But a bunch of tough son of a bitches, for real.
Yeah.
And they love America. They love America, man. Like,
Yep.
Like everybody has this stigma about like New York and this and that. Like Staten Island, New York are like just true down and dirty blue collar Americans. And I love it. Yeah. That's always going to be home, even though I don't live there anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I always say like New York now, like as you get older, New York is like a place to visit. It's not a place to live, you know. I don't know if I can live there anymore, you know. Like, I kind of like my space, you know. Maybe gun laws in different states are better, but
for sure,
you know, it will always be home. Like my ID, being active duty, I've moved around all over the world, all over America, and my ID and my license plates still say New York, and I will.
No kidding.
I will never change that.
Nice.
Yep, I've done every hurdle. But I'm in the military to try to keep my New York State ID, bro. And I just don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure. I respect it. I really do. My mom, grandma, sister, aunts, uncles, they did the whole migration across the Verrazano Bridge to Staten Island. They're still there. I'm trying to get them to come down here because I currently live in Pennsylvania. I'm literally 20 minutes outside of the city of Philadelphia. But you feel like you're in the country, bro. Like I just bought a house. My fiance and I less than a year ago. And first time I had property a day in my life. Like it's so different. You still get the city vibe. I'm an hour and 15 minutes from my mom's front door, but just it's a different way to live.
Yeah, people say to me all the time, they're like, so like, what's like New York like? Like, what's Staten Island? Because they have like these big yards and backyards and front yards. And I'm like, yo, like my backyard is just a concrete, like 12 by 12. Yeah. That's it. I think it's great, you know, like I have a little front lawn with some grass, but like other than that, like I don't have acres. Like I didn't know people actually like raise cows and like pigs and shit. I just go to Costco if I need some meat, you know?
Yeah. Everybody thinks Pennsylvania is like Amish country. And I'm like, nah, dude, it's a big ass state. Like, totally different.
There is it's not Allentown. Lancaster. There you go. Yeah. I gotta make the trip out there because they got the best butter. Their butter is phenomenal.
Their food is like next level. Like and in Philly, like these people, they commute like every day to the city of Philadelphia. They set up shop. When I used to work in the city of Philadelphia, right next to the courthouse in Philly, is a place called Reading Terminal. Just shouting that out.
Okay.
Bro. So it's kind of like if you ever go to Chelsea on the lower west side of Manhattan, and they have like this big ass food market and stuff like that, like Chelsea Market or whatever.
Yep.
So Reading Terminal is the exact same concept, but if I had to go to like court and stuff like that, in Philly, if I had a break, I'd hit up the ADA, like the assistant district attorney, like, yo, I'm going to go get some breakfast. Boom, Amish, and then I'd have them whip up whatever, the best breakfast I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, bro. Like everything is fresh ingredients. Like. And like that's how like they live, you know. I'm not getting into like, you know, their lifestyles or whatever, but like watching videos because I'm curious, right? Like that's like in America and they're sticking to that like kind of old way of life. So I like looked into it and read some articles, and I'm like, this is how they make their money. Like they have auctions and they take the resources that they have and they sell it to the public, and that's how they, you know, continue to grow and fund their community. So I give them the utmost respect. But I swear, if one of them wants to move next door to me and trade me butter for Wi-Fi, I'm down, dude. I'm down.
Hell yeah. love it.
All right,
I
man.
love it.
So let's get into the nitty gritty, right? Let's get
Right.
into uh, Chris and your story and you and your life after high school. So you
Okay.
graduate St. Peter's,
Yep.
and where do you end up going there after that?
So, all right. In order to get there, I got to take one step back.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Yeah. So, I was a kid on 9/11, right? Just like you.
Yep.
We're how old are you, by the way?
29. I'll be
Okay.
30. I'll be 30 in April.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Life's over at that point.
Oh shit.
No, I'm playing. Everything hurts,
good.
bro. Once you hit 30, everything hurts.
Bro, I'm in the military, bro. You know how how it is. It's like military years are dog years, you know?
Yeah, you're yeah, I never heard that. I like that. Yeah, I'm 32, so you get it. So I was in 5th grade on 9/11.
Yep.
And Sacred Heart Elementary School is, I'm not joking, maybe 2 minutes from New York Harbor.
Yep.
And sitting in my 5th grade class, and normal day. Everybody knows this, right? Beautiful, sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. Parents take you to school, whatever. Maybe you take the school bus, maybe you walk. It's New York, you know what I mean? And I remember, this could just be me, but I remember like hearing a low flying plane and like my school shaking. This could just be like a recollection. I don't know, but like I remember it. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, you're in 5th grade, and whatever. So then, shortly after that, over the loudspeaker, kids starting getting pulled out of class, and I'm sitting there. I'm in 5th grade. I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I'm like, "Damn, I want to go home." Like, like someone call my name.
Yeah,
And, yeah. So I go downstairs. Finally, I'm one of the last ones in there, and the line's down the hallway, which had never happened before. And my dad, who was a New York City firefighter, a brand new lieutenant, he got promoted right before 9/11 in '01, is standing there, serious, stone cold, as a heart attack. And he's standing right next to a guy named Mr. Newman, who's also a New York City firefighter. And I remember Mr. Newman says to my dad, "Bobby, this isn't good." And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" So anyway, he's like, "No, don't worry about it." Puts me in the car. He's doing like 100 home, which, again, never done. I only live like 5 minutes from there. And as he's getting ready to make a left turn, another car is flying, head out the window. He's like, "Bobby, Bobby, it's a recall." Like, they kind of slowed up. Again, don't know what that is. Goes home, drops me off to my mom, who's kind of like frantic. My mom's also my hero. We'll get into that as well. But I remember we had a tiny, I'm talking, the TV's this big in the kitchen. And I saw the towers like on fire, and didn't see my dad for like 3 days after that, because he was digging at ground zero. Obviously, a recall, just for the followers, is every on duty or off duty New York City firefighter, first responder, police officer had to go. So my dad happened to be off that day. Took the Staten Island ferry with a bunch of his buddies, because the Staten Island ferry at that time turned into like a hospital boat slash like troop transport boat. So they're bringing people that are banged up this way to Staten Island hospitals, and then firemen and cops are kind of just sailing this way to ground zero. So my dad survived 9/11, but lost. I can't even tell you, man. Specifically, like Sacred Heart School, for example. I have so many friends that lost parents, and I lost an uncle and shit like that. He was a civilian working in one of the towers, and he was killed, and whatever. Friends, family, so on and so forth. It's the most tragic day for our generation in American history. The life in the world has never been the same. There's a pre 9/11 world and a post 9/11 world,
Yep.
Which then, as you know, because you're the same way, bred a generation of patriots.
Yep.
So that inspired me. That Halloween, I wore my dad's bunker gear. You know what I mean? I was a firefighter for Halloween. I still remember him bringing his bunker gear home. I remember the smell. I remember the smell of bunker gear, and who knows what it is? Jet fuel, dust. People were incinerated, and I'm not trying to be graphic, man, but this is the reality of our lives. Fucking crazy. And he brought me home like one of those typical, maybe in one of those videos like George Bush visited or whatever, you would see like an American flag constructing hat they were like giving out at ground zero.
Yep.
I have one, bro. Like, my dad brought me one, and like that impacted my life. Like, from that day forward, Chris Ryan's calling was trying to make this right. As naive as that may sound, I am one man. I'm like, I need to make September 11, 2001 right for the American people, and specifically the city of New York. So, long answer to Vinny's question. Coming back. So I graduated St. Peter's High School in 2008, 2009, technically, which is, again, all boys Catholic high school. A lot of dudes going to like military academies and shit like that. Like, I wanted to go to West Point, but I just, it's incredibly difficult. You know, you need like congressman letters and stuff like that. I had one of my good buddies, John Dowd. Haven't seen him in a long time, but I still follow him on social media. He went to Annapolis. He played football for Annapolis. I think he's still active duty. I think he's working on nuclear submarines. He was a two-time academic All-American. Like the dude is just an absolute, you know. So like junior year, senior year, not only was an animal on the offensive line for Navy football, he also was just crushing it. He was the dude that like he would stay after in St. Peter's, and he had like 104 GPA, and then he's grinding on the football field, whatever. So that was the culture there. I remember Navy recruiters, bro. I remember Navy recruiters coming and like I was like, I just want to get out of class. Like, so I go to the gym, like, let's do pull-ups. And I remember like the stupid PT gear and shit like that. And I'm like that is like, I'm like, damn, that's awesome. But so how did I get to college, right? I was getting scholarships here and there. I was a good student, nothing special, bro. I played baseball. I played every sport, but like baseball was really like my passion. I wasn't getting any like real D1 looks. I was going to like Division I workouts and shit, but whatever. So November 23rd, 2008, well, a week prior, or a couple weeks prior, I had gotten a scholarship from a school called Chestnut Hill College. It's in Philly. And my parents were like, yo, like, you should probably go look at it. All right, whatever. It's like the last school I'm going to look at. I kind of had like my mind made up. Super, just a dumb teenage kid getting into all sorts of trouble. But I still like kind of like your cousin Ducey had a good moral compass, good heart, good head, just getting into dumb shit. So I really didn't care. I was like, I'm going to college, whatever. Yeah. So, and my parents were like, yo, you got to go to college, because I wanted to go straight into the military, but we'll get there. So my dad and my mom had my sister had a lot of health issues growing up. So my mom was like watching my sister. She's also an absolute stud, my sister. But my dad took me down to Chestnut Hill College, November 23rd, 2008. Quick trip, I don't know, hour and a half. We show up, small college, bro. Like you got like a school like Penn State University, 50,000 people in the state of Pennsylvania. And then you got Chestnut Hill, which is like maybe 2,000 undergrads, maybe. So like night and day, right? Whatever. We show up, park, again, kind of like a 9/11 day, like not a cloud in the sky, absolutely stunning. Chestnut Hill, like if you ever want to Google it for gee whiz shit, it's a beautiful school, like old architecture, stunning. My dad and I look at each other, like close the doors, and I'm like, damn, like this place is special. So we have a great day. I met with the criminal justice people just because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to major in. So I was like, oh, I'll just go meet with you. Sounds cool, right? Yeah. Whatever. So my dad and I are kind of, I met with baseball coaches. They were D2, by the way, Division II school.
Okay.
So we're getting ready to leave. We're walking out of the auditorium. For any Chestnut Hill people that end up tuning into this podcast, you know exactly the stairs that I'm talking about. You're leaving like the gym. And there were like three old ladies sitting there. It's also a Catholic school, mind you. So I actually had gone to Catholic school, elementary school, high school, and then college. Not that I'm the most religious person, but that just like shout out to my parents for like fucking grinding, man. Like blue collar people put me through Catholic school. Like we didn't have money, bro. We weren't poor. I always had like food on my table and a roof over my head, but I know my fucking parents worked hard. So shout out to them. But so I was going to I ended up going to the school. But anyway, we get into a little conversation with these three old ladies. Nice as could be. My dad, total FDNY buff. He had like his fucking jacket on and stuff. And they're like, oh, you're a New York City firefighter. And my dad's like, yeah, whatever. So talking, blah, blah, blah. 5-minute conversation, we walk away. They all had name tags on, but again, I'm a dumb, naive kid, didn't pay attention to shit. And my dad's like, hey, genius, like he hits me on the shoulder. You know who you just talked to? No clue. No, no situational awareness as like a 17-year-old Chris. They're like, that was the president of the school, genius. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. And a couple other faculty members like, I don't fucking know. So yeah. I'm sorry to the Fighting for Freedom followers, like with my F-bombs. I know it's a big
Nah, you're good, bro. We're from New York. You're bringing it's nice to have the accent come out, have the F-bombs come. It makes it more human-like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Don't hold nothing back, man. Be authentic, be genuine, just as you are, man.
Thanks, Vin. So yeah, my dad kind of like hits me in the shoulder. That was the president of the school. Oh, damn. Well, that was nice. So then we go home. My dad had to work at the firehouse that night, and I was a waiter and a busboy, like just grinding my ass off in high school, trying to make a penny here and there. So we go back to Staten Island that night. My dad worked at Engine 155, Ladder 78 on Jersey Street in Staten Island, which is actually the busiest house on Staten Island. It's pretty hood. Just gonna keep it real, like
Jersey Street.
Yeah, man, and like, you know, from a firefighter perspective, like unfortunately, like the low income neighborhoods, like the impoverished areas, equal wood buildings, old and no like fire suppression system, shit like that.
Right.
So it's a busy area. And like so, my dad, by the way, in '08 had like 17 or 18 years on the fire department, and so he had worked in Brooklyn, like the borough of fire. For anybody that knows that, he actually worked in all five boroughs. Then after 9/11, he worked at Engine 6 in Lower Manhattan because that whole crew got killed. Like they had nobody. So they were like, Bobby, like, would you mind rebuilding this firehouse? And then like the typical retirement jump, like I'm going to Staten Island, I'm going to chill out and ride out the rest of my years. But again, he loved his job. So he picked the busiest house on Staten Island and whatever. So he went to Engine 155, ladder 78, Jersey Street, busiest house on the island. I went to go wait tables. And that night, my life changed forever. So it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting a pounding on my door, my front door. And my mom and sister were visiting family in Florida, so I'm by myself. And it ended up being some firefighters. So they were like, Chris, you got to come to the hospital. Like something happened to your dad. All right. So we go to Staten Island University Hospital, former St. Vincent's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I not to get into the weeds, but my dad lost his life that night. He was killed in a house fire on Staten Island. It was like an attic fire. I come to find out all this shit later. And he, as a lieutenant, you're here and your nozzle guy's here, and he's kind of pointing out where to hit and shit like that. So he's up there with the nozzle with his guys, and ceiling collapse, knocked him unconscious. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he died of smoke inhalation. So yeah, my life changed forever, man. And crazy fucking times. Like my mom and sister had to fly home. Obviously, that's national news when a New York City firefighter loses his life. And it was actually, I think, So this Thanksgiving, November 23rd, the one that just passed, because obviously, like this podcast is a few days after Thanksgiving, was the 15-year anniversary. So this Thanksgiving was 15 years since my dad died. So he died a couple of days before Thanksgiving back in '08. But the fire department, man, like they are the most outstanding agency I've ever fucking dealt with in my entire life. Incredible people, like true family. They made my family Thanksgiving dinner that year. But now let's circle back to Chestnut Hill College. The last place I spent with my dad on earth was Chestnut Hill College. That's not by accident. So I'm a big fate guy. And this is the crazy part. So maybe 2 or 3 days after my dad was killed, we get flowers and shit like that. So we were getting stuff from all over, but who was it? It was Chestnut Hill College.
Was it those 3 old ladies?
Those 3 old ladies, bro. They remembered a 5-minute interaction.
Yeah.
They remembered. The Sisters of St. Joseph, I'll always have a soft place in my heart for them, man. But they were like, yo, like we were so sorry. And obviously, like, imagine being them. Just because it's not all about me, man. Like, imagine, like, I just met this guy. He's a gentleman, met his son. Wow. And then they wake up the next morning, put the TV on, and there's his face. Like, that's fucking crazy. So, but they are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah. So Chris Ryan that day was like, I'm going to Chestnut Hill College. I just was like, let's do it. So, there's going to be a lot of these stories. Vin.
Nah, you're good, bro. You're good.
Yeah. So, I ended up going down there. So my dad died, he passed away November 23rd, 2008. I'm a senior at St. Peter's High School. A few months later, I graduate, and my head's fucked up. Like I really am. Like, I'm kind of still in shock. Even 15 years later, bro, it's hard to talk about. So, like, one thing I really would like to touch on in your podcast is mental health.
Big thing.
So, yeah, I mean, it took me quite some time, and I'm still not perfect. And that's just one incident, bro. Like, I can really get into like my childhood, but that's not what this pod is about. Like mom had cancer twice. Sister was very, very sick. Like all sorts of wild shit. Everybody has a story.
Yep.
Everybody. No better, no worse than me. Like, my worst day might be someone's like best day, and I respect that. So, but this is just how it affected Chris and his mental health and his emotional health and stuff. So, I went to Chestnut Hill. I tried playing baseball, like D2 baseball, and my head just wasn't in it, man. Like I was still pretty fucked up. Trying to navigate like being away from home for the first time in my life. Like I'm living there.
Yep.
My dad died like only a few months prior. Worried about my mom and my sister. all sorts of shit. So like I was like, all right, I played 1 year and I'm like, I'm just gonna step away from the game of baseball and I'm not going to the MLB. I'm gonna focus on my fucking grades anyway. I kind of grew up like super fast. So that dickhead kid that hung out with Ducey, your cousin, like in one day, like flip a switch, I'm a new man. Like, kind of crazy how it worked out.
I kind of give you
So
credit though, because like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a professional athlete," but like the reality kind of sinks in where you're like, "I'm probably not." And I'm glad you actually like that happened to you, because where you are now, it looks to me like you're doing great. So
dude, that means a lot for real.
yeah,
I work every day, bro. Like, and this is like I try to like I want to say there's like a victory story, bro. So like, and also like you said, like people, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. Now, everybody responds differently to different situations, right? So, like if a parent dies, just one example, you can go like there's a fork in the road, and
hmm
you can say I'm a victim, or I'm gonna try to make that parent proud, and I'm gonna grind, and I'm gonna do better, and just something. And shout out to the fire department, my mom, my sister, my grandma, all them, like they worked really fucking hard to make Chris Ryan, like make sure I didn't end up in jail or nothing like that, or drugs or alcohol.
hmm
So, but also like I do give a little bit to myself. I was like, damn, I just want to make my dad proud, man. So, um, I really could have gone down the wrong path. Freshman year was the hardest out of all 4 years. Like maybe I'll just fucking drop out and go
yeah,
do something else and whatever. So, anyway, and also the professors that I met too, like I met two professors and then the president of the school. They always looked out for me because they just knew my story. They
yep.
didn't put it out there like that unless I wanted to talk about it, but they just knew me.
Yeah,
So whatever. So I focused on criminal justice just because I was like, everything else sounds like bullshit. So I don't like math.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like science.
You're good.
Like whatever. So I was like, I guess I can do this and try to get into the first responder world. I really had no guidance, but I still, to come back to 9/11, I was like, I always want to be in the military. I'm just going to do the college shit because that's what my parents asked me to do. And I'm trying to honor my dad's legacy and make my mom proud and
Yep.
whatever. So she never had the opportunity to go to college. My mom, like she grew up dirt poor, East Flatbush is a rough area, bro.
hmm
She was one of five, single parent. Like my grandmother's an absolute beast for taking care of them. So I was like, I got a legacy to uphold and try to like pave my own path. So I ended up after the freshman year, like really like locking it down, and working on my grades. And so now I'm starting to figure out like, okay, it's junior year. I got to figure out the rest of my life. We're getting into that senior year time frame. Um, and so I was a criminal justice major with a double minor in history and sociology, just because like sociology and criminal justice go together. Like
Yeah, they hand in hand.
yeah, and then history just because I love history, man. I'm a huge history buff, and that's why I also appreciate this podcast, man, because you're documenting history. You're interviewing like normal people, and that's great because there's so many stories to like tell, man.
Yes,
And
bro.
people don't
Yes.
believe in they don't believe in books anymore and shit like that. So like, what do we got? We have like the internet and whatever. So hopefully, Vinny can just keep building people's stories because like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years from now, like at least our story's not going to die. And I really do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Really, like you've been. I said this earlier, and I said it once. I'll say it again. You've been one of those people where, as soon as you found me, you followed me. Like you were
yep,
like you would comment on everything. You'd be like, "Hey, man, like I really appreciate this. Like this is really good. I hope the best." And you didn't do that just once. You did that consistently.
hmm
And then I was actually like, "Do you want to like talk on my podcast?" And you were like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude. Like I don't care who you are. I don't care what your
sure,
story is. The only thing I ask is that, like, I try to stick to the either active duty or the veterans to be on
yep,
here, so people
yep,
can hear that story, right? Because there's a lot of military service members who battle different walks of life, and not to mention mental health, right?
yeah, man,
So if people can hear other people's stories and be like, I'm not alone, like that kind of gives me like, if I could put one story out there and 1,000 people listen, but one person takes something away and helps them mentally or in a different way, then I'm all about it, man.
sure, yeah. And
All
that's
about
what I said to you from the jump. I was like, you are an active duty military member, and you're trying something that is just so incredibly difficult that
it.
most
Yeah,
people would just shy away from. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
for whatever reason. But you decided to just buckle down and
yep,
take a fucking huge chance and get out there and just like you're balancing two jobs. Plus, I know you're a married man and stuff like that. So, but the biggest thing to me was like Vinny is trying to do something for the veteran community. And we need more positivity, bro. Like
Yep.
our jobs are hard enough as it is. Not everybody needs to be a Navy SEAL combat veteran, but our jobs are hard enough as it is. We leave our families, we work long hours, we work holidays, we work weekends. Mental health is a big fucking thing, and there's a
Yep.
lot of haters out there. I don't care what anybody says, but if people are hating on you, you're probably doing something right at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need more positivity. I never met you a day in my life, but like I kind of
Nope.
feel like I relate to you. You're a Navy guy. I'm an Air Force guy. And here we are, bro. Like just trying to do better. And again, even if we reach one person or 1,000 people, I can give two shits. It's just about trying to make a positive impact.
Exactly.
But yeah, to come full circle, it was junior year, and one of my criminal justice professors was like, "Hey, like Philadelphia police is giving an exam." This was 2012, right before summer. So I was going into my senior year. They were like, "Hey, maybe take it, get your experience, like kind of just see what the criminal justice or the law enforcement process is like, whatever." So I had not graduated yet. I had no military preference yet, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Took the Philadelphia police test, and I think at that time there was a few thousand people that took the test, and I believe I was number 56 on the list.
Oh shit.
And I was like, "Fuck!" Like, yeah, like damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but again, I was like, my whole goal was like, I'll kind of just go through the motions, and I didn't know any cops. I kind of like, I guess being a cop's cool, and and I'm gonna graduate college and kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was May. By November 1st, 2012, I was in the Philadelphia Police Academy. So,
Wow.
dude, 6 months, and now I'm like, oh man, like life got real, and I'm
Yeah.
still in my senior year of college, mind you. Like they call this how it goes, bro. Anybody that wants to get into law enforcement, like you're trying to get out of the military or whatever, just pay attention. So I did my whole process. I didn't fail anything, and they hit me up on a Wednesday. They're like, hey, you're starting Monday. And I was in like my fall semester of senior year. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I had to hit up my professors. Like they knew I was going through the process, but I'm like, this is what's going on. I would like to still graduate, but I got to go do a Monday to Friday, fucking 8 hour a day police academy.
Yeah.
Philly, you don't live there like at the Philadelphia Police Academy. Like you go home every night, have weekends off, but it's 9 months. It's a 9 month
Oh
academy.
shit.
Like
Okay.
most police academies are 5-6 months. This was 9. And again, I was just kind of going through the motions, man. Like, I really didn't have too much like parental guidance. Like, I'm living away from home. My mom's not a first responder. Like, my dad passed away. Like, a lot of my family were kind of like engineer, like work with your hands people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna figure life out. So I ended up doing the full-time 40-hour a week police academy for 9 months, and finishing up my senior year of college. So that's like you get college credits for a police academy, and I'm doing a full college course load at the simultaneously. I graduated the police academy, and then I graduated with my bachelor's degree around the same time. And it was probably the hardest, some of the hardest 9 months of my life, man.
It sounds like it. You have to get your ass beat all day for 9 months, and then go to school.
And it's also like it's honestly like, again, it was a pretty heavy like academic course load too. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, no, I don't know none of this shit. And I had a bunch of veterans in my class too and stuff like that. And they like, for them that's a cakewalk. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Ben, there. I'm 21. Actually, I was the youngest in the class too. I was 21 years old when I graduated. So, and then in Philly, you at that time, it's changed now. You walk a foot beat when you graduate for a year. So there's no car. And Philly kind of old school, kind of like an old school city, old school police department. No field training program. They were just like, all right. So they split us up. They like some of my class went to West Philly, which is a rough area, and then some of my class went to Kensington, which is like North Philly. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Kensington, bro. That's the heroin capital of the East Coast of like the United States. Like it is.
Oh shit.
Again, if I were to blindfold you, drive you around for a little bit, and drop you off in Kensington, you think you're in a combat zone, bro. Like I'm not fucking around. Like it is wild. Like, yeah. So it's like it's kind of like Walmart for drugs, and so Mexican drug cartels control the area, and they have Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that work for them. But like there's DEA poll cameras up there. There's FBI that's in there. There's a bunch of different narcotics task forces that were working there, at least at that time. This was 10, 11 years ago. So all right, so they were like, Ryan, who do you want to work with? And I look at like my classmates that don't know a goddamn thing, and I'm like, I'll work with this guy. And they're like, all right, go walk. So, yeah, like, that's it. To the wolves. Baptism by fire. So now we're like, all right, and here's a funny story. So we're like, we got to walk the area, kind of figure out where the fuck we're at. It was kind of like by like 10 blocks by like 5 blocks, like north to south, east to west, whatever. That's your grid. Of course, as fate would have it, we got the busiest part of the area that I'm in. So it's like, it's just complete insanity.
Yeah.
So I'm talking like open air drug market. People, like, they have a whole system. They have lookouts. They have guys that are selling. They have stashes. They have weapons. They don't give a fuck that there's a cop there. There's like drug shantytown villages. Like, bro, there were like buildings that like like these drug users and stuff like that would just rip like ceramic windows, fucking take them off your house and try to go sell it. Like insane. Like no
Holy
backs.
shit.
No backs of buildings, like Beirut. Like look and you can see inside the house, like, because in Philly, like Philly's a pretty impoverished city. They don't have the money to knock down abandoned homes. Now, what does that do? That breeds crime, bro.
Yep.
So so we're like, all right, we got to walk. Me and my partner, we're like, we just got to figure this shit out. So we start walking. There's like, I'm not kidding, man. We went like 2 blocks. There's like a 7-year-old kid, right? I remember this vividly. He looks at us. He spits at us. He's like, spits at us. I'm like, oh my God. Like, we're not in Kansas anymore, man.
No.
So, and I, like, what, I didn't know what to do. So I just spit back. I didn't spit on the kid. I didn't spit on the kid, but I was like, you know.
I mean, honestly, I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, I fucking showed that kid, but no, but I just was like, damn, dude, like, and it's crazy, but
like,
that was
like this is where I'm at right now, and like, they're not in my world, I'm in their world, so it's kind of like that balance of like, all right, you live here, this is what you do, like, I get it, right? I'm not gonna be that one man that fixes the whole world and paints rainbows and unicorns everywhere, but I gotta keep, obviously, you know, that justice a little bit, right?
Well, real talk, man. I'm a believer. So like, I do believe in the Footbeat program. I think it could have been better. Like we had a little more guidance and shit like that. But also at that time, we didn't have like a lot of like the crazy anti-police rhetoric that we have today. It was sort of starting at that time, but I still felt like I can go out and do my job. And I kind of wish, like, you know, we had to rely on senior cops, like a lot of like the best cops in the district. They call them districts, not precincts in Philly. We're kind of like anti-crime cops or whatever, and they would look out for us. Super old school. They'd be like, don't you dare call a sergeant, you call us first. I'm like, all right, cool. So I wish there was a more established field officer training program now. They have that now from what I understand, but back then they didn't. But so like I had like a lot of senior cops that have been out there getting it for 25 years, kind of like at least like show us a thing or two. And we learned and we learned and we learned. And then we mastered our 10-block radius. Like we knew where they stored drugs and shit like that. We knew who the players were. And, you know, it really grew me up, bro. So Chris Ryan, that was, you know, I was 21 from Staten Island that went to Chestnut Hill College in a beautiful fucking Catholic university. Like, how the fuck did I get here sort of thing? Like in a blink of an eye. But that I'm becoming a man. Like I'm like seeing tragedy and heartbreak and violence, and that really grew me up. And all this kind of grew me to where I'm at today. Like I really attribute a lot to my Philadelphia police time to being so successful in the military now. But we'll get there. So I had a guy. His name was John Ramirez. I think he's a Philly SWAT guy now. I had him for 1 week, right? And he was a senior guy. He had seven fucking shootings under his belt. Most cops, I'd say about 99% of cops in America will never even use their weapon. He had 7. He had been acquitted 7 times because they were all justified. But that just shows how violent the city of Philadelphia was. And then, so I remember I met him for a week. I'm at the gym off duty, like a day. He goes, hey, Chris, like call me. He's like, hey, like good news, bad news. Like I'm going to SWAT. Bad news is you'll probably never see, like you won't see me. Like I won't be able to help you. I'm like, fuck, like that guy's a wealth of information. And I learned a lot from him in like 1 week. I remember like our first day in the district, they threw us all in a van. I think we had like 20 Footbeats that went to this district. They threw us in the van, like, hey, we're going to go drive just to get the lay of the land. They drove to my Footbeat, and we make a turn onto a block. They're like, hey, like just a heads up, like this is probably the worst block in the 25th district where I work. They bang a right, dude. Picture a Philadelphia street where they park on the sidewalks. It's one way. It's like super narrow and old, and motherfuckers are like throwing shit at the van. Fuck you, like banging on the van. And we're a van of 20 police officers. And they're like, they don't give a fuck, dude. So I'm like, they were like, yeah, well, welcome. And they were like, whose beat is this? Like, whose Footbeat is this? And me and my boy are like,
fuck.
But you know what you do, bro? Like to kind of, we went straight to that block like the next day, and we walked
Yeah.
our ass down that block, just to be like, hey, we're here. So we learned a lot of crazy shit, dude. I made a fucking ton of arrests, like even as a footbeat. Like nothing earth shattering, you know what I mean? But I'm learning. Like the more people you arrest, as long as you're within, like, you know what the fuck you're doing, like the more you're gonna learn your job. I remember I graduated July 3rd, and I think like so the 4th of July I like worked the parade. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like I'm in the nice part of Philly. The
Yeah.
5th of July I worked like a food festival. This is great. And then I had like 2 days off, and I reported to the 25th district, and all that bullshit ended. I'm like, oh, no more nice. So
Yeah.
so that was July. August, I was making a little arrest. It was nighttime on like one of these really, really heavy drug blocks. I'm making an arrest. Some dude like bought heroin or whatever. And I had some senior cops. I don't have a car. So I had some senior cops come and like try to assist me, like transporting the prisoner. So again, I'm here on this corner in the middle of the block. I'm talking 50 feet away, like actual real patrol cops, not footbeats, are locking up the block captain, the dude that runs that block, right? Locking him up. He had this Jeep Grand Cherokee. I remember like it was yesterday, all sorts of drug compartments, guns, whatever. They're locking up that dude. And now they don't like that, like the block. So they're starting to come out hooting and hollering. We're trying to call for a few more people there. Now, again, I've been out of the academy 1 month, and I'm getting ready. I'm putting this dude in the car, my arrest here, and then they're here. And then at the very end of the block, but again, it's a tiny little foot off your block. I hear gunfire for like the first time in my life, like ever. And like tunnel vision's real. Like I don't care what anybody says, I'm not a hero. I hear like pop, 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 pop. And like I kind of like, zoom. But then, I come out of it. I'm like, oh, that's good. Like I came out of it. And then I turn and I see a kid, 13, with a gun at the end of the block. He had just fired into the fucking air to like get the attention because we're locking up the block captain. And then he fires again. He has like 10 cops looking at him like, bah, 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 bah. And then dips, gone into the
Holy
alley.
shit.
So now, and they don't give it, this is the city of Philadelphia, dude, which is the shit that people don't hear about. So 1 month out of the academy, and now they're like, everybody's like, go, 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 go. So I have a dude in handcuffs that I just locked up. He's in the back seat. I hop in the back seat with him, and my partner hops in the back seat, and then we have 2 other cops in the front seat. And now we're just hauling ass trying to find the shooter, if you will. Now, again, when there's a shooting, everybody converges. So we probably had like 30, 40 cops in that area by the end of it. Never found the shooter. And then we go back to the block, and the shell casings were gone. Like, that's what they do, bro. Like, the block takes care of each other and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, that's the environment I was working in. And then I always say this, and not to sound corny, but I saw more combat, if you will, in my civilian law enforcement time that I have in the military, and I guess that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because I don't like there's no sense to glorify the shit. It's just like, if you're in a place at a time, like shit's gonna happen. So yeah, that and my career progressed. So I did 1 year on foot in the 25th district. Then after your probation, they kind of move you to another part, which I agree with and I don't agree with, because it's like I just learned that area, and then they sent me somewhere else. So then they sent me to West Philly. So I went to the 16th district, totally different culture. So I was dealing with Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and drugs. I go to West Philly. It's off the boat like West Africans for the most part, and they just do things different. So I'd like to say like the drug game, cartel game in the 25th is like an enterprise. West Philly was kind of like amateur hour, but they were a lot more violent, like just like gangs and shit like that. There's no Bloods and Crips and stuff like that. Like New York has Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, whatever. It was blocks and neighborhoods that were really just shooting each other up all the time. But at that time, I got into a car, and I'm hustling, and I'm learning, and I'm moving along a little too fast. Like, I thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and that's just a dumb young 20-year-old. I was like, I'm fucking Superman, like I'm whatever, and just young and naive, like 22, 23, whatever. And they put me into like a special unit within the 16th district, and our only job was to address crime issues. So I no longer have to answer an auto accident. I no longer have to do like dumb shit, right? So dumb shit. Let me correct myself. I don't have to do like the normal patrol work. I'm just out there for violence, guns, drugs, whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
And again, just out here hustling. But I got to a point. I'm sitting in like a patrol car, and I'm like, man, like I still want to do the military. Like I still want to do like my calling has always been the military. Like life kind of came at me fast. How the fuck did I get here? Like whatever. So, let me go backwards. 2012, I hit up an Air National Guard recruiter because my uncle's retired, medically retired FDNY. He got fucked up from 9/11, and he flew Cobras for the Army National Guard.
Oh, where?
So
Let's do.
yeah. So he was a helicopter pilot. He flew Cobras, actually out of PA. This is weird. So he grew up on Staten Island, but the airspace is better in PA. So, and he was a pilot.
Okay.
So he's like, all right. So quick trip. He flew Cobras out of Pennsylvania Army Guard, and he was an FDNY guy. Which the Guard people, Army Guard, Air National Guard for people listening. All 50 states have them, and especially with like police officers, firefighters, shit like that. It's not uncommon to have guys that kind of do both. In like a drill status, they do like their weekend a month, they train, whatever, but they have their full-time civilian job. That's not uncommon. So my uncle did that, and I had talked to him. He was kind of like a mentor to me after I lost my dad, and I was like, "Yo, like I want to go Army." He was like, "No, you don't."
Yeah, no.
I'm like, "Excuse me? Like, you got a 20-year pension from the Army," and he's like, "Chris, I'm not gonna let you go Army, dude." He's like, "Let me do a little research." He's like, "You ever look into the Air Force?" I'm like, "No, not knocking it. I just never really thought about it."
Yeah.
I always just wanted to be infantry, kind of like Ducey. Like I had that same mindset, you know what I mean? Your cousin. I'm like, oh, shoot stuff, blow up stuff, whatever. Army. People don't even know that there's like other branches. They just think Army is the whole military, you know?
They
So
see the commercials and they're like, "Oh, that's cool."
yeah. Oh, they'll see Navy SEALs like, oh, the Army's cool. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. They're called Navy SEALs, dude.
Yeah. No. So my uncle found my base that I currently belong to now, which is crazy. He's like, hey, go check out this Air National Guard base in Pennsylvania, like right next to Philly. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I called the recruiter in 2012, right as I'm about to get hired by the Philadelphia Police Department. I apologize for like going back and forth.
No, you're good. You're good. Your story, not mine.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's August of 2012, and I was like kind of just finishing up the Philadelphia police process, going into my senior year of college. I hit up an Air Force recruiter. Fast forward, I did my ASVAB, I did my MEPS. ASVAB is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, which is the written exam for the listeners that you have to take to get into the military. And MEPS is medical processing. I don't know. So, but it's pretty stringent. Like they do, they're pretty thorough. With like they'll disqualify you for all sorts of dumb stuff. But anyway, I go back, I see my recruiter after I do my MEPS and my ASVAB in PA, and they're like, well, I don't remember my score, dude, at all. This was 2012, so do the math. But I know I did well, and they like handed me a paper. They're like, you qualify for whatever, whatever you want. And this is not necessarily OPSEC, operational security, but like my current base, they have like a drone mission. I'm not going to dive too much into it. But at that time, they were like kind of building up the drone mission. They were like, hey, like this is cool. This is coming down the pipe. We don't have it yet, but it's a long process. Like go to school and whatever. Would you want to do this? I was like, that sounds stupid. Sounds dumb. And they're like, oh, really? But I was like 20 at that time. And I'm like, that sounds idiotic. I'm not interested. So, and they were like, well, we have really cool dudes named like Red Horse. I don't know if you ever worked with them as a CB, Air Force Red Horse guys. So there are combat engineers, same.
Then yes, in Okinawa, but they do some they do some like big scale shit.
Yo, they're badass.
Scale shit, yeah.
They are badass. So Red Horse guys, Red Horse stands for something. It's like rapid, expeditionary, deployable, something. Like they do like HVAC. They do they picture a desert and they'll build the whole fucking airbase. So everything from paving to whatever. Then we have CE, which then fixes stuff. So like Red Horse will build and then CE fixes. Like that's just how it goes. Okay. But Red Horse, man, they're out there getting it. They provide their own security. They go to the worst places on the planet. Like sometimes security forces attaches to them, which is what I do now, but I'll get into that. But they're cool. So like, hey, like you want to be a heavy equipment operator? I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, dude, what do you want to do? I'm like, security forces. They were like, you sure about that? And I'm like, because like you don't really need a super high score to get into security forces, even though it's like such an important job. Like, so Air Force Security Forces provides security and law enforcement for every single Air Force base on the planet. So you need a lot of us. So that's why the score is not incredibly high, but it's kind of like being a Navy MA, Master at Arms. So a little bit similar, little similar. We do a lot more than like, so you have the Army MPs and you have like Army Infantry and you have like Army Cav Scout, 3 different jobs. And then you have like Navy MA, which is very law enforcement heavy. Air Force security forces, they call us like jack of all trades, master of none, because we do a lot.
Yeah.
So we do have a air-based ground defense mission. We do convoy security. We do nuclear weapon security. We go to a federal police academy. So you have like a law enforcement. We go to a lot of Army combat schools. Like you have like, dude, there's so many breakout avenues. But again, people just see like the dude at the gate. They're like, oh, that's security forces. I'm like, that's a brand new airman that just got home from school.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
it's kind of just paying his dues. But they never see like what the hell goes on behind closed doors. And they're like, Chris, your score's pretty high. Like, pick something else. I'm like, that's it, or I'm leaving. And
Yeah, like, what do you want me to sign the piece of paper, or
yeah,
you
yeah,
want to?
yeah. So I ended up picking security forces, and it's actually the best decision I ever made in my life, man. But that was 2012. But here's the caveat. So like, I was going to be a part-time drill status guy, and my recruiter was super cool. I was like, I'm about to get hired by the Philadelphia Police Department. And he's like, well, that's going to put bread on your table and a roof over your head. This is going to be your part-time job. Like, this isn't going anywhere. He was cool. Like, you know, like the Air Force, which is pretty, like, they're not huge into like quotas and shit like that, like versus other branches, because we're so small and we're so like specialized. So he was like, give me a call when you graduate the police academy. I'm like, all right, cool. So even though I did my MEPS and my ASVAB, which most people enlist that day or whatever, I didn't enlist, Vin, until 2014, almost to the day. Wow. 2 years. So your MEPS and your ASVAB expires after 2 years.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2 years, I'm sitting in like West Philly in a patrol car, and I'm like, man, like I'm destined for more. As corny as that sounds, like I just want to do something more. So I called my recruiter 2 years later. He's like, yo, where the hell have you been? And I'm like funny story, like, yeah, this is what I'm doing now. He's like, you need to get in here before your shit expires and you have to do everything all over again. So MEPS and ASVAB, August 2012, enlisted in August of 2014. So kind of crazy. Like, yeah, so I went in, I raised my right hand. And then as a Philadelphia cop, I started doing drill weekends, even though I didn't go away to school, kind of like the DEP, like the delayed entry program.
Yeah.
So I would go to my Air Force base in PA. I would go to drill, even though I didn't have like I didn't go to basic training. I didn't go to technical school yet, shit like that. But they would teach you rank structure. They would do PT. They would teach you marching, like kind of. So I didn't leave until February 2015, even though like your pension and stuff and all your time in service starts at your enlistment date. Yeah. I went to boot camp in February of, I guess that would be February of 15. So 6 months. And then I ended up resigning from the Philadelphia Police Department and going to boot camp down in San Antonio, Texas, Lackland Air Force Base. My whole intent was to go home and be a NYPD police officer. I took the test and all that shit, but the NYPD is a much, much larger than Philadelphia. Yeah. And it actually, that was like a 3-year process. I'll get into that. So, but I knew that I had the Air Force to at least fall back on at that time. So now I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I'm 23. Felt like an old ass man compared to the 17, 18, 19-year-olds that are there. But all my life experience, man, like obviously like having like, you know, kind of like some trauma and shit like that as a kid. And then having a bachelor's degree and then being a police officer, all that shit prepared me to be very successful with the military.
Yeah, I'll give it to you, man. A lot of people, I mean, we came in kind of like the same time, not the same time.
Oh, no kidding.
The same age. I was 23 when I went to boot camp, right? And
okay.
Same for me, but I mean, your story is a lot different, maybe a little bit more, you know, mindset heavy, because I joined and I was in a fraternity. I was in college. I was working as a medical assistant, just hating life. So that's like where I went. But you had this whole career. You had this whole background going. I honestly think what you walked into, you were like, what is going on? Like, he's like, why are they crying? Like, why do they want to go home? Like,
I'm not, listen, I'm no fucking hero, Vin. Like,
not at all. But
no, I remember like laying in my rack and I'm like, fuck, like, how did I get here? Even with all that life experience, that's like the second time I'm walking around fucking Philadelphia with gunfire, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? Yeah. And now I'm laying in a rack in fucking Texas. I'm like, bro, am I ready for this? Like, you really are. It's normal to have that self-doubt. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I remember laying in my rack too, just like, fuck, like, why did I do this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking tired. this bed is
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
And
I'm
you know,
6'2", the bed's only 6 foot. Like, fuck.
yeah, I'm 6'3", like 265 right now. I was still like, I wasn't that big obviously back then, but I was like, dude, like, and they give you one like World War II wool blanket, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck,
Yeah.
dude? Um,
Yeah.
so, and everybody had given me warning prior. They're like, listen, with your background, your education, your police experience, age, like you're probably going to be a dorm chief, which is essentially like the student leader, if you will.
Yeah,
where
we
the
have like
airmen,
it's called like RPOC. It's like you
yeah,
are the I got you.
and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
fly under the radar. Not interested.
I want to do
Yeah,
laundry.
yeah, which is what I know you did.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So that's great, man. Nah, so and I flew down with a buddy of mine too. He was like 30 something because like the age limit is a lot. I actually, as of like a week or two ago, they extended it.
40,
But
yeah, to 41, right? Or 40,
yeah,
41 or
yeah,
42.
yeah. Regardless, you could be like relatively old, especially in the guard. There's like a
Yep.
little bit of different standards. But so my boy was like 30 something years old. He was an absolute monster, but he was 30 something years old. But he like flew down there with me as well. So at least I knew that he was there as well. I kind of had like he was actually in my we call them flights, which is kind of like a company or whatever.
Yes.
So he's in my flight. I'm like, all right, at least I got Emilio, another Italian dude, shocker.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So the next day, no sleep. The MTIs, military training instructors, which are just drill sergeants. MTIs are what the Air Force calls them. They come in and they have us like face to the wall, shit like that, whatever. And they had us fill out like papers, like basically a background paper. And I'm like, oh goddamn. So I put my shit on there and whatever. So you're kind of going through the motions, and then I don't remember exactly when it was, but I'm staring at a brick wall or whatever it was, like a cinder block wall. And they were like, "Where's my Philly cop?" And I'm like,
You're like, oh shit.
Fuck, dude. So I walk up. He's like, "You are my interim dorm chief until I fire you." And I'm like, "All right." So sounds good.
Sounds good, I guess.
Yeah. And well, let me rewind. So then prior to that, they did like a bag drag. Like they just make you dump all your shit, whatever, all that stuff. And I forgot, like I had like my wallet badge. Like I still had like a wallet with like a badge in it. I just kind of I carried that shit for years.
I have one of those. It's my mom's badge.
Oh, there you go. That's dope. That's dope. So they're going through, and this drill instructor comes up to me. He's like, "I fucking told you, empty everything." And I was trying to kind of hide it, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude." He's like, "When I come back, that better be squared away." So whatever. He comes back and he's looking. He's like, "You're about to be dorm chief," and close it, and then kept on going. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
But it ended up going, and I was the dorm chief for the entire 2 months. I didn't get fired. It ended up being whatever, but it was stressful. Not even gonna lie. I don't care all your life experience. It was still stressful.
It's annoying because you're like, you're older. You got your shit together. You lived on your own for a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
You have all these new kids who can't boil water. You're like,
can't tie their shoes, can't shave their face.
Yeah. Like, it's not that hard, bro. Just wake up. Like,
no, and I'm trying to learn boot camp.
Yeah, all this
just
shit
like everybody else.
Yeah.
But anyway, so whatever. Boot camp was. I actually still have friends to this day, like dudes that I've been to their weddings from all over the fucking country, and that's people. People don't know or not. Like a lot of people have no clue. Air Guard, Air Reserve, and active duty. Like when people started hearing what the fuck is the Guard, and I started explaining it to them. They're like, I wish I would have picked that, because they could have stayed home or, whatever. So I kind of, you're teaching your flight members and stuff like that, and whatever. So I had friends all over the globe. We all do the same training. Just for those listening to the podcast, nothing's different. We same training, same schools, same deployment locations, whatever. It's just whatever status you're in. Maybe you're part time, maybe you're full time, whatever. So then I had to go to the Security Forces Academy, which, I had friends that were flying to this place, flying to that place for this school, your follow-on training, which is called tech school, technical training school.
Yeah.
I got my ass on a bus. I drove 30 seconds down the road, and now I'm at the Security Forces Academy, which is also in San Antonio, Texas. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that actually, we share a schoolhouse with Navy MAs. A lot of people don't know that. So
word?
Half the building is Navy and half the building is Air Force. We do different training. Actually, Navy MA training is at Lackland Air Force Base.
our HVAC and plumbing and electrical school is in Shepherd Air Force Base. That's where I
Oh yeah,
spent.
so
That's where I
yeah,
spent my tech school.
yeah. So that's part of JBSA, right? Joint Base San Antonio, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so. I don't know. They
Yeah.
got a good galley.
Yeah. 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 So I went to the Security Forces Academy. Let me guess. So I guess that was March of 15, and that's like a 4 month academy. The curriculum is constantly changing depending on the needs of the Air Force. So
Yeah.
at that time, it was very, very like infantry, if you will, like air base ground defense, air base ground defense heavy, just whatever was going on in the world, and very little law enforcement. But again, it's still a federally accredited police academy. Um, Graduated there. Again, successful. Like it wasn't easy. It was actually pretty dope. I enjoyed a lot of the training. Like we go to an army base for a few weeks. We do a lot of like infantry shit out there and stuff like that, and come back. And then I came home to my base in right outside of Philly, and I stayed on orders for a while because at that time the Pope was coming. The Pope was coming for a visit to like
Oh, where? Oh,
the
that's dope.
United States. Yeah, and obviously people, again, if you don't know about the National Guard, Army, and Air Force, they activate us for shit like that for additional security. So we
Okay.
were activated for the papal visit. So we were working with like feds and stuff like that. A lot of like federal helicopters were on our base, and all his convoys and shit would come out of our base and stuff like that. So yeah, so got to do that for a while, and it's like on the job training as well, kind of like learning your job and upgrading your skills and so on and so forth. But again, I'm not a full-time Air Force member. I'm a drill status member. Still waiting on the NYPD because that shit took forever. And I'm like, well, still need a full-time job because my orders are going to come to an end.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Staten Island at that time. And a buddy of mine, Anthony, I don't know. Anthony's kind of like he's very quiet. He's the fucking man, but he's very quiet. He's an Army infantry veteran, Afghanistan, Staten Island guy. I think he's a New York City firefighter now. He went to the Korengal Valley. I don't know if you're familiar. That's probably like the most violent place on earth at that time. It was like 2011. And he had a rough go, but he's a fucking an absolute gangster. He's like the man. Maybe I can kind of put you two in touch. We'll see. I don't know. Anthony's a shy guy, but my boy Anthony was working at this private security company called MSA Security. They are the largest private security contracting company in the world for canine, for explosive detection canine.
Oh shit. Okay.
He was doing like surveillance, counter surveillance, like all sorts of cool shit.
Yeah.
But I just kind of like gee whiz started talking to him. And he's like, is this something you're interested in the interim? I'm like, I don't give a, that fucking sounds cool. I'll be a canine. I'd be a canine handler,
Yeah.
whatever. I need money, and I just need to like kind of buy my time until I get hired by the NYPD. So this is just how the world works, man. I submitted a resume. The prerequisite is you have to be police or military. At least I had that. I had both.
Yeah. Yeah. Both. You're like, oh,
So
okay.
yeah, but again, like a lot of dudes that are way more qualified than me. I'm talking like 25, 30 year like SWAT guys or like operators, like they're also working for this company. So,
Yeah.
but Anthony made a phone call. My resume goes from the bottom to the top of the paper, to the top of the pile. And then they call me like, yo, you want to go to canine school in Connecticut? I'm like, when? And they're like, again, just like Philly, they're like, we'll get you there by Monday. It was like, again, like a Wednesday. I'm like, fuck, all right, guess I'm going to canine school. So did that. Went out to Windsor, Connecticut, which is the major MSA canine training facility. Met a lot of really cool dudes. Got to work with dogs, like explosive detection dogs. Yeah, EDCs is what they call them, kind of like the military calls them military working dogs, MWD. But again, they're not biters. So this is the private side of the house. They are just explosive detection. Obviously, there's a huge need. They have the NFL contract, the NBA contract, the MLB contract. They actually do ground zero, ferry terminals. They do FedEx Airlines, airports, cruise ship terminals. You name.
Oh,
I've worked Wall Street. I've worked Times Square. Again, so a lot of times you'll see these dogs and people don't know who we are, and I guess that's a good thing. But they're not meant to bite. They're just for explosive detection, explosive odor. I did my canine school, got my dog assigned to me. It was phenomenal. And then I just started working my ass off, dude. Like, because there's just such a need for everybody wants in the world of counterterror. Everybody wants a dog, and they'll pay. Like, I'm talking, it's a hedge fund, like billions of dollars to whatever. So I did that, and I'm working as a explosive detection canine handler now for a private security company, and I'm still doing my military drills, right? Military drills,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I got tasked to deploy in 2017. that was during the big push of Mosul, Iraq, trying to take it back from like ISIS and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got orders to Al Dhafra Air Base, United Arab Emirates. So I went out to Al Dhafra. It used to be an undisclosed location. It's not anymore. Small, tiny little base, like a tiny ass little compound. Tons of NATO forces. Every branch of the military is there. Actually, we were the busiest airfield in the entire fucking AOR of AFCENT. Everything was like flying out of there. Like you name an airplane or a fighter jet or like it was there. And we're doing like air base defense shit like that. And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like you name it, we had it. And a lot of people don't know how like the AFCENT works. So you have like Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, like all these countries, and we're everywhere. But my tiny ass little base was in UAE, and it was surrounded by a much larger Emirati base, which are the host nation Air Force. So again, even though I'm just an airman, which is like I was a senior airman at this time, which is an E4, I'm a grown ass man with a lot of life experience, and I really appreciate Air Force leadership, like for looking at the human being, not the rank, or else like my career could have gone a little bit different. But like you know, Ryan's has a lot of experience regardless of his rank. So I kind of just like again stepped in shit, like got lucky, and they were like, hey, we'd like you to at least try and work with the Emirati Air Force, like the host nation liaison, instead of like working at ECP, like entry control point, or just doing dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's a pretty big fucking deal. Like you're gonna go work with the host nation. You're gonna liaise. Like you're the American, as far as they're concerned. You're the Americans, and if something happens, like you know, whatever. So I got to work with the Emiratis, who are fucking hilarious. Almost like every day, like every day, and they're a bunch of goofballs, bro. Like I'm not trying to. I don't want to get into too much with them.
No, you're good, bro.
They're not the most.
That's just how everybody is, though. It's like hanging out with the Marines, you know. It's like
and they're also highly educated, like because like UAE is a filthy rich country.
Yeah.
Like so, the way it works in like a small country like this, a lot of countries, but they have conscriptions. So if you are Emirati, which is only 1% of that country, like royal Emirati, whatever bloodline, shit like that, you have to serve in the military. So you can either go after high school or you can defer and go after college. This is the Emiratis.
Okay.
So a lot of them are intelligent. They're wealthy. They don't want to be there because they're filthy fucking rich, but they're just doing their job. The rest of the country is like everybody thinks like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, shit like that. But the rest of the country looks like Baghdad after the fucking invasion, like just poor. They have a lot of like slave labor, like rubble, trash, like just it looks like shit. So people just think of like these two nice cities. Like ISIS actively lives there. They gave us like that intel brief, like it's not a secret, but they're like, hey, like they like fucking like they vacation here. You know what I mean? Like so just be careful. Whatever. So anyway, I got to work with the Emiratis almost every day. Cool fucking dudes. I got to fly on some cool, like I got to fly on like a KC-10, which is an in-flight refueler for people who don't know, like the big gas station, the big gas station. Yeah. So again, we evolved, man, from like the beginning of GWAT, like back in the day, like a fighter jet would take off from a base. They can only fly for like an hour and a half, fucking whatever, and then they got to refuel. Fast forward to 2017. Again, this is, you know, they've been doing this, but they're like, well, we can just put a big ass gas station in the sky and give our troops on the ground 24/7 air cover. So now we have fighters up there for 12 fucking hours, just filling up. So I got to go on a KC-10 to Iraq and Syria, and just see like, you know, like we filled up French Rafales, like fighter jets. We filled up A-10s over Syria. We filled up Navy F-18s over Iraq, and they're just going and doing their thing. They're bombing the balls off of ISIS, and it was pretty fucking cool. So I got a lot of really cool experiences there, and I came home, and I guess that would be like October or November of 17. And then, shockingly enough, like I'm probably one of the luckiest dudes on the planet. NYPD calls me, so I ended up not. Yeah, bro. I ended up not having to go back to the canine company, which is kind of like bittersweet because, like, on the private side, like all they care about is money. So they took my dog and recycled her to another handler, which that one hurt.
I was gonna ask you, like, is that your dog or?
Yeah, bro. So
that's shitty.
That really fucking sucked, man. Because that's like your daughter, like that, like it's like literally like taking your baby to work and she pays your bills. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So like that bond like sucked. But you know, if you're a cop or MW military canine handler, like they traditionally would let you retire that dog, but she had a lot of money to make for the company, which sucks.
Yeah,
but
she's still young, I guess.
She was 3 or 4 at that time. Yeah,
Okay.
so they usually worked like 8 or 9, depending on their health. I come to find out she actually she tore her ACL, like kind of jumping in or out of like an 18 wheeler, like we were searching them or whatever, and they medically retired her. So like kind of like I'm like at least she doesn't have to work the rest of her life. She got to go just be a dog, which I love dogs. Actually, my I had a black lab that was a bomb dog. I have a black lab now that's laying like right over there, and that's like my girl. So I just,
Oh yeah.
anyway. So it was November of 17, and I started the NYPD Academy of January of 18.
Damn.
So I was just blessed, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, good shit,
Yeah,
bro. I actually
yeah.
did kind of the same shit you did. The only thing is, I went active like right out of the gate in the
Hmm.
military because when I was working, I inquired with the NYPD because
Okay.
my mom's a cop, my uncle's a cop, my other uncle's a cop. You know, like
They still on the job then?
yeah. I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah. I got yeah.
Oh, there
That's my
you
mom's
go.
badge. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit. All right.
Yeah. Most of them are still on the job, either in Staten Island or Brooklyn. But
No kidding. All
so
right.
yeah, so I hit up NYPD. I took the test, and I was like, all right, well, how long is this gonna be? And my mom was like, I don't know. It'd probably be like maybe like 4 or 5 months. And I was like, all right, well, I don't have time like that. Like
Hmm.
I'm serving tables. I'm pouring beers. Like I'm wasting my
Sure.
life. I'm 23. Like, what am I gonna do? So that's when I made the decision to like go in the Navy. Whatever happened. And I enlisted, and then the NYPD called me like a week later, and they were like,
Oh
"Yep,
my God.
spot's open." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm going to the Navy." So I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can't tell the Navy like, "Sorry, it doesn't work like that."
Nah, bro. You put
So
pen to paper.
yeah, I told the NYPD, I was like, "I'm going active duty Navy. When my contract's up, like, can I come back?" And they were like, "As long as you do one contract and you get out, you can come back to us. But as soon as you re-enlist, your paperwork's done." And I was like, all right, see you later. And I actually did re-enlist, so
Dude, I
uh,
think that might have been the best decision of your life, and I'm not knocking the job, but I fucking love cops. I've been a cop. I don't know how many times at this point.
yeah.
Um, but the current state of policing in America, and I know you got like you created a whole life for yourself with the Navy. God
Hmm.
bless you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. And again, all my people in blue, I have some of the best friends in my life are still cops. God bless you because you are and I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's the hardest job in America. I'm not saying like a brain surgeon's job is not like technically hard,
Hmm.
but the amount of scrutiny that police officers go through, and the amount they're under a microscope, and they're out there holidays just like us in the military, weekends, nights, leaving their kids to go put bread on their table, but also serve the public. God bless them.
Yeah, it's a hard job, man. Like
Yeah,
every day I put on my uniform and I go out there and I get looks, but the looks I get are the best looks you'll ever receive.
yep,
And then it's the complete opposite for other people doing.
yeah, man, and like
It's shitty, but
this is what I tell people. So 99% of the time, like when a firefighter shows up, people have a smile, like thank God, so happy. 99% of the time, when a cop shows up, people give him like nasty looks, like fuck, like
yeah,
the cops here, and that shouldn't be that way. But it's
yeah,
just the nature of the beast too. Like you're not really calling the cops to like fucking bake them a pie. Like it's like someone's life's in danger, or someone committed a crime or did something heinous, and like the police have to show up. But like this country, not to go down a rabbit hole, man, they really villainized the people that are just out there protecting and serving the community. It's not everybody. I really think it's a small margin. But again, in the world of social media and the news and stuff like that, you'll get like a 5-second clip of like a 3, 4, 5 minute interaction, and it is what it is. I do think the country is on the up and up. I think like kind of things are coming back, things are cooling off. Like um, I remember being in a patrol car in West Philly the day the Michael Brown decision came down. I don't know if you're familiar with the Michael Brown decision, but
hmm
that kicked off in 2014, like the Black Lives Matter movement. So I'm sitting. It's nighttime. My partner and I were watching it on our phone because that was going to change. That basically did change like the American law enforcement world forever. And right behind me, I actually have a picture. I could show you. I could send it to you. Whatever. It sells like it says like kill cops, no whites allowed, shit like that, like spray painted on the wall right behind where we're at.
damn,
So I'm like, fuck, like we might get shot tonight because this decision just came down and whatever, like the rest is history. But that's kind of when it kicked off. So that was 2014. I think we're in a much better place now. It's just that was a grind, bro. Like getting through,
Yeah, man.
all of that. But yeah, so January of 18, January 10th, I remember. Started the NYPD Academy, and the NYPD very different than the Philadelphia Police Department. The
Yeah, I bet.
The NYPD has a $1 billion academy that opened in
Oh.
2016. It's fucking massive. It's like a military base and a college campus on steroids. It's in Queens, right across from City
Yeah,
Field.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, it's over there. Isn't there one on Randall's Island too? Or no?
That's our range. That's our range.
Okay, that's your
Yeah,
range.
well,
Okay.
one of the ranges, because the New York City Police Department is fucking massive.
Yeah.
That is the outdoor range where like recruits go through. Actually, corrections also shoots there. Like that's where their recruits go, and feds. Some feds shoot there. Obviously, it's New York City, highly compact. If you're gonna shoot thousands of bullets, you might want to put it on an island somewhere.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
Yeah. Put it on Randall's Island. That sounds great.
Yeah. They also have a whole like mock city there, like cars, streets, apartment buildings, like for training, which is it's pretty dope. Obviously, we've seen that a million times with the military too. Like ESU, like our SWAT team and NYPD will fly in there on a helicopter, rappel down, do their shit. But also us, like recruits, like we go there, we train, we use like simunition, sim rounds, stuff like that. It's a good time. But I started January 10th, 2018. And I was on 4 to 12 because the NYPD is so big. They have an 8 to 4 and a 4 to 12 class, the same class just going through. So my class was 800 people. So you had 400 on days, 400 on 4 to 12. Then we had an overlap of another like smaller 300 person class. It was crazy, bro. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's state of the art. The academy is incredible. You've never been there?
Nope.
I don't know if you like with your mom or whatever. You got to go like whatever. So
No.
It's dope. They actually paid Disney like millions to build like mock sets, like almost like a movie set.
That's
on
crazy.
Some of these floors. Yo, incredible! It's like you walk into like part of these floors on the NYPD Academy, you feel like you're in Disney. Like it's like the trees. There's like an NYPD cop car. There's a bodega. There's a bank. There's a house. Like, and this is where we do our training. And then like literally, there's cameras. So like if your class is sitting out and you're going through the scenario, your class is watching you and kind of like dissecting what's going on. State of the fucking art. They also have a whole, I'm talking like mock subway system Disney built inside of the academy. Train cars, like turnstiles, like all this stuff. Because like if you're in the NYPD, you can get assigned to transit. You know what I mean? Then they also have like a mock housing project. Because if you're in the NYPD, you can get assigned to like a housing project. So all this shit's in the academy. They have a pool because we do like water rescue day. They have 3 or 4 basketball courts, indoor track, outdoor track. It's honestly remarkable. I was super impressed. And then I went to Randall's Island for like my range. I also went to Avenue X in Brooklyn, kind of by L&B's. There's another range. My favorite pizza on the planet, by the way. What's yours? Hold on, I'm a big pizza guy. What's yours?
L&B. Fuck the Farah. Yeah.
You dead ass? You serious?
Yeah, L&B all day long, bro. But when I first like brought my wife to New York, the first thing we did was we went to L&B, and I was like, "This is pizza. There's no other pizza. I don't give a shit about artichoke. I don't give a shit about the forest. I don't give a shit about what's."
No, the artichoke was my precinct when I got out of the academy. Like that's the 10th precinct. Yeah, fuck artichoke.
Yeah, artichoke is good in the village in Manhattan at 4 a.m. when you're pissed drunk.
Because that's where all the clubs are.
Yeah,
all the clubs are right there.
Exactly.
So
that's the only time artichoke's good. But
I knew I liked you, Vin.
all right. So let's say Staten Island pizza. Who has the best Staten Island pizza?
I'm a big Brothers Pizza guy in Port Richmond.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Because I do like Sicilians. I never get round pies.
Well, that's the thing. So Brothers Sicilian is my favorite. I don't like the regular Brothers, and it's all cash too. That's how you know.
It's all cash. It's pain. Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass, but it is what it is. What about all right? So this is like the big controversy on Staten Island.
Go ahead, bro.
Jimmy Mac's or Danino's?
I knew what the fuck you were gonna say.
I don't think anybody goes to Joe and Pat's anymore. No, Joe and Pat's is
so that's funny. All right, so you're my dude. You're a tattoo guy, right?
Yeah.
I go to Ron and Dave's right around the corner. Ron and Dave's tattoo.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where I got all my work, like my chest, up, like whatever, from Ron and Dave's. It's the oldest tattoo parlor on Staten Island. My boy Danny. Shout out Danny. If anybody like goes to anybody goes to L&B's. If anybody goes to Ron and Dave's, go see Danny. But right around the corner is Joe and Pat's. So if I go to get a tattoo,
then
I go to Joe and Pat, which is it's good, but it's not the Danino's, which obviously this is where I'm going. I would take Danino's personally. That's just me. That's just me.
Everyone says Danino. I grew up on Danino's. Jimmy Mac's is down the block from my house, so it's an
I know
easy
where it is.
walk.
Yeah.
It's an easy walk, there
Phenomenal.
and back.
Yeah.
But Danino's is so good. And then if you go in the summertime, you go to Danino's and you go right across the street
Ralph's.
to what? There we go, baby. There we go, baby.
Shout out Ralph's.
I love it, dude. Shout out Ralph's Italian Ices.
And that's on anything down here.
That's the OG one, though. That's the OG one.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. That's where I grew up going. Yeah.
My father tells me the one on Highland, no. The one in Tottenville, no. He says because by the time they take the ice and they put it in the freezer truck, it loses all the flavor
not the same.
From Port Richmond all the way. He says nah. You got to go to the one on Port Richmond Avenue, and if you don't, just stay home.
Hell yeah. No, real talk. Like that is so funny. Yeah, that is like Staten Island folklore. Yeah. If anybody listening, for whatever reason you go to Staten Island, not really sure why you would go, but if you go to Staten Italy, you gotta go to Danino's and then Ralph's and all. But that's what's funny though is you just right up the street is fucking Brothers too. Like it's right there.
Yeah.
So
you can put all these pizzerias like literally. They're all so close to each other. They're all in the same zip code, but yet they're all like famous in their own ways. It's
so my favorite Sicilian is definitely Brothers, like on Staten Island.
But Staten Island, definitely.
Favorite pizza on the planet is L&B's. That's just me.
L&B's Spumoni Gardens, baby.
What about oh god, what's it called? Grimaldi's, but like the OG one in Dumbo.
Yeah. It's good. It's good, but still going back.
Cash only.
That's how you know it's good.
And they only sell pies. They don't sell slices, which is kind of cool too.
L&B you can get slices, but no one really like. I mean, people do get slices.
I'm buying a pie, bro.
People buy pie, half pie. Yeah. And what's crazy is like for those of you who don't know about these places, L&B Spumoni Gardens in Brooklyn, right? But you walk up to the counter and you order a pie. They don't get, or you order a slice. They don't give you like a round slice. It's a square. That's what they do. That's what they go by. And you don't have to wait 20 minutes for your pie to be ready. You want a pie? Here's money. Here's the pie. It's like boom, boom, boom.
I'm also I'm a big sauce guy, and they're fucking like the way they do it is it's a saucy, sloppy pie. They put grated Parmesan on top, like. Yeah. Fucking oh my god, bro! I got to get up there now.
It's good, bro. Well, they do dough, cheese, sauce, and then grated parm on top.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking believable. I tell everybody to this day, and like Portnoy, Dave Portnoy, the guy from Barstool, he's
a fucking idiot.
He is. His taste in pizza fucking sucks.
He's from Mass, so I know. Can you blame him? Yeah, I know. Yeah,
no, I've actually like tried some of the places that he's been to, and like I've kind of like hashtagged him. I'm like, yo, your fucking pizza tastes sucks.
Bro. Like, you really think L&B's is? And bro, the Forest is like weird hours too. It's not even like.
Yeah, well, they're too big. They're too big now because like to this day, like he did a place in South Philly called Angelo's, and it's like the Little Italy of South Philly. It's good. It's like in my opinion, it's an 8 something. He gave it like a 9 something, and this was like 20. He did it in 2019. Line still out the door, bro. Still, which is good on him. I love small business and shit like that. But
I will say he is helping all these small businesses grow. So like, no disrespect at all to him. Disrespect given when you say L&B is not that good, and then he had a round slice.
I know.
What the fuck you eating that for? Yeah, but that's all right. He didn't understand the assignment. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
No. So whatever. To come back full circle, that's actually what we did, by the way. So when we were shooting at Avenue X in the academy, we ordered a pie of L&B's to the fucking range, and the instructors were cool with it because they totally get like, yo, L&B's is right here. Whatever. So anyway, I graduated the NYPD. Hold on, let me come back. What was I in the NYPD academy? A company sergeant again. Because I had the Philadelphia police experience at this time. I had the K-9 experience, and I had the military. They were like me and my boy Vic. My boy Vic's he was a Marine. He did like fucking 4 deployments, and then now he's Air National Guard, which is also super common to kind of go from Army or Marine Corps, and then you kind of like you see the fucking light. You're like, oh my god, the Air Force takes care of us, and they jump ship to the Air Force. So my boy Vic is He's out of the 106 in the Hamptons, the Air National Guard base out there. So he left the Marine Corps, joined the Air Guard. He's also a NYPD guy now. That's my fucking dude. I love Vic. Him and I was
shout out Vic.
Shout out Vic. Maybe we'll get his ass on here. That dude's got stories. But anyway, so he was a company sergeant, and I was a company sergeant for our guys. And he's still one of my best friends to this day. He'll be at my wedding, shit like that. Actually, a lot of these dudes in the NYPD Academy. So we had a company of 50 cops. Um, Obviously, my 4 to 12 shift was 400, and our graduating class. So we started with like 8 something. We graduated with like 780 ish, whatever. Those dudes that I spent 6 months in the NYPD Academy with are still some of my best friends. We went to different precincts. A lot of them went to New York State Police, Nassau County, Suffolk County. Like a lot of dudes left the NYPD, they get their foot in the door and then they go make more money elsewhere, which can't knock them. And some of them are still on the job, especially in again the current state of policing, especially in big cities in America. A lot of them get their experience and dip. But anyway, I just had a bunch of them down to my house in PA now for a fucking barbecue like a few weeks ago. Like again, I only spent 6 months with these dudes, and every year we still do a barbecue. And now they're starting to come down to I just bought this house. They're starting to come down here and fucking, dude, the bonds you get going through bullshit, whether it's boot camp, tech school, police academy, you get it.
Yeah, I get it.
It's just something. It's something about it, bro.
So many just miserable times, but you do it together. That it just makes it that much better, you know.
If you're an individual, you're not going to survive. You got to be a team player.
Exactly. Well said, man. Well said.
Yeah, for sure. So I ended up getting assigned to the 10th precinct, Lower Manhattan. It's Lower West Side, excuse me. It's Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen, shit like that.
That's kind of I know exactly which precinct you're talking about too, man. I know.
It's on 20th Street.
It's by I don't know the fire station, but the Ghostbusters fire station.
Oh yeah, you're not far. You're only maybe 5 blocks, maybe if that.
Yeah. I don't remember the engine or the ladder name of it.
No, I know. Yeah. No, so I got assigned to I would call it Disneyland, bro, because I went from absolute shithole war zone in Philly, and now I'm in the Lower West Side of Manhattan, which could not be more different.
No, that's great. Everyone's painting pictures and singing with violins, and you're like, "This is fucking."
It's so different, though, Vin. It's so different. Yeah. So from a police officer perspective, anybody listening that has law enforcement experience, they just know what I'm talking about. So you go there's no traffic, mind you, in the ghettos of Philadelphia. You now are in Lower West Side of Manhattan. If I have a call, a prior shooting, stabbing, robbery, whatever, I can't fucking get there. I just can't. So I'm sitting there, lights and sirens, and it's nothing to the people of New York. They can't move. Yeah. It's gridlocked.
Where do you want me to go?
No, yeah.
There's cars parked here, and
I'm hitting lights, sirens, and they can't go nowhere. So that dude's probably going to be long gone. It sucks. Actually, I wasn't there for this. This was a little before my time. The Miracle on the Hudson, where Sully put it down, in the Hudson River. That my precinct's kind of right there. Whatever. We have what the hell is the sports thing in Chelsea? Chelsea Piers.
Chelsea Piers, the big soccer field.
Yeah, so that's in my precinct. It's just different though. So it was a super big learning curve. Even though I had military experience, I had Philly PD experience. It's just different way of policing. You have the filthy rich. You have every single subway line on the planet. So you literally name a train. It's in Lower Manhattan. So and again, if you're a criminal, you're not stupid. You can literally steal someone's cell phone, run down into the platform, get on a train. You're in a different borough, and I will never find you. Of course, the patrolman, the detectives with the cameras and shit. Of course, we'll get it. But
eventually,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But then also Manhattan's different. A lot of people don't know. So the 10th precinct is very, very tiny because it's such a high population. There's 2 housing projects, 2 big ass housing projects in the 10th precinct. So I had celebrities. I would go to this building called the Sky Building. I would run into New York Mets. I would run into New York Knicks. But again, New York City, man, they have an 80-20 law. So just for tax breaks and shit like that, 80% of the building is filthy fucking rich. 20% is going to be Section 8 for it's a lottery so for tax breaks. So if you're living in again, this is just fact, not opinion. If you're living in a really rough area like Brooklyn or the Bronx or whatever, you can apply through New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, to get in this lottery. And if you win, they'll put you in a building like the Sky Building. So 20% of that building, even though you're low income and all that stuff, you were just living in projects, you are now living in this fucking luxury apartment complex, and you're really not paying anything. The government's paying for it. So this is a really weird dynamic. I remember responding with like ESU with like shields and shit like that, like fucking to the Sky Building, which has a Lamborghini parked out front. LeBron James goes there to work out at their basketball court, all this stuff. And we're going up on this elevator, dude, like just like a movie, like picture like shoulder to shoulder, like fucking cops, shields, helmets, guns, and we're going up, and like I ran into Inez Cantor, who used to play for the Knicks, and like it's such a weird dynamic. He's like, what the fuck are all these cops here for? In like my building.
Yeah.
And now we're going to one of those floors that had like the lottery from the 20% of NYCHA, and we have to fucking take the door because someone just got stabbed or some shit like that. It's kind of like New York City's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. And then obviously you have like clubs like One Oak, where like Saquon Barkley and his people go to party, and shit like that. But then if you want to walk to Tao, which is in like One Oak and Tao are here and here, but right fucking here is Section 8 projects. And people get guns put in their face, they steal their shit, walking from club to club, and they run into the projects and they're, see you later, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a different way of policing, man. It was super different. But I only spent a short amount of time with the NYPD because I kept getting tasked for orders with the Air Force. Still doing my Air Force thing. So I went down to a leadership school in Tennessee in 2019. I was down there for like a month. Then I went to fucking Korea in 2019. I was there for like a month, which is actually my favorite place the Air Force has ever taken me. You ever been to Korea?
No.
Dude, dope. So I went to Korea in support of the Special Operations Group. It's called like the SOG. So they're based out of Japan. Actually, I don't know if you saw like that Osprey that just went down, and they're kind of looking for all those guys. I'm pretty sure I guarded those Ospreys in Korea. They could just that's where they came from. So they were doing like war game exercises in Daegu, South Korea. It's not an American base. Like there's Osan, Kunsan in Korea. I was in Daegu, which is a Republic of Korea ROK base. So I was just staying in barracks and shit like that. But they were playing war games, so like Green Beret Special Forces, Air Force Pararescuemen, Air Force Combat Controllers, Marine Raiders, like all these dudes. They were all just doing, and they were working with Korean Special Operations. I, as security forces, was just providing real world security for their exercise, which was fucking awesome. A lot of cool opportunities for anybody listening, man. Like, you know, I'm not an operator by any means, but like they're fun. Like living in my barracks, like I had like a PJ to the left of me and a fucking combat controller to the right of me. We're all just one team, all that shit. And like I would go to like play basketball. I had a fucking Korean guy. I had a chief master sergeant.
Yeah.
I had a fucking Green Beret, and we're just playing pickup. Like it's fucking, you know, it's fucking.
It's
awesome.
wild. It's a whole different. It's a whole new world, man.
One of the best parts in the military is just shit like that.
Yep.
And like some of my guys, like, you know, I would go to like the TOC, like the Tactical Operations Center. I'd talk to like special operations pilots and shit. They're like, hey, do you have any airmen? Because I was an NCO at this time. I think I was a staff sergeant at that time. You know, any airmen that kind of want to go like on a flight over the Sea of Japan? Fuck yeah, I do. So I go hit up my guys, give them a cool experience, and they would go on. These were MC-130Js, which are special operations planes. They would hop on the back, fly around the Sea of Japan, do cargo drops, got to see all sorts of cool shit. Like an incentive. It's an incentive for like doing good. Like go do cool shit. Take a day off from work and whatever. And then another one of my boys, he got to be like a victim for like the PJs, like the Pararescuemen. So they hiked up this mountain and shit like that. An Osprey comes in. They rappel down. They put him on a fucking basket. You know, strap him in, bring him up. Cut his fucking clothes off. He's like, dude, like my fucking dick was out. I'm like stuck on the, you know, I'm stuck. He's like, they did it all. Like he's like, this is bananas.
I swear to God, it's really cold out right now. It's 105 degrees. I'm freezing.
Yeah, they put an IV in his arm, like all this crazy shit. But like, you know, that's like cool shit we got to do. And then when we got relieved of duty at the end of the exercise, I just got to go fuck around in Korea. And I know Ducey was in Korea, dude. Great time. So I went to Daegu. It kind of reminded me of like a cleaner Bangkok. I don't know. So like the Korean people are so nice. They love Americans. Their food's delicious. We got to go to great bars and just meet people and had a great time. I got to know a colonel because again, it was just a very small population of Americans that were there. This colonel was in charge of a bunch of bases in South Korea. Cool fucking dude. I forget his name. As a thank you to us, he got us like Korean MLB tickets. So he's like, yo, where's Saran Ryan? And I wasn't in the command center at that time. He's like, oh, well, here's 15 tickets on me. Like, go fucking watch baseball. We're like, and I fucking love baseball. I'm like, oh my God.
That was supposed to be your career.
Yeah, negative. But I know what you mean. I was not good enough, but I know what you mean. And anyway, so all of us, we went to go watch a Korean MLB game, dude. It was fucking awesome. It was like the Daegu Lions versus like the Seoul Bears, and they're passionate. Like they had like war drums and horns and all these people, and I'm
Yeah,
sitting like I'm
they're
sitting here.
about it.
Yo, I'm sitting right here. Like he got us like front row seats. It was kind of like orchestra style, so it's like the field's here. It was dope. And actually a dude, his name's Darren Ruff. He played so there are some Americans that play over there too, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he was playing for Daegu at the time. He played for the Phillies. He played for the Mets. Guy fucking sucks. I'm glad he's traded. Whatever. That's why you're playing in Korea. No, so
Yeah, they can have you.
Yeah, you're good. No, but
Yeah.
like I got to do cool shit like that, man, in Korea, and
That's dope as fuck, man.
incredible.
Did you have any? Let me ask you. Did you have any nicknames like when you were going through NYPD Academy, or like when when people found out like who you were? I feel like you'd be one of those guys that just has like the crazy.
Oh man.
nicknames.
So my people growing up in Staten Island, like Ducey can 100% attest to this. They used to call me C Rye, like C. Chris Ryan, like C Rye. That was like no one called me Chris, no one called me Ryan. They called me C Rye. That was growing up, and then I don't know, man. Like my NYPD guys, dude, which is hilarious because we're fucking grown ass men, wife, kids, like we're all like established careers. They still call me company sergeant, which is fucking hilarious. So yeah,
that's funny.
As like a joke, like, they'll walk in my front door. They're like, company sergeant. I'm like, no, 30.
Throwing up salutes and shit. Yeah, that's so funny. Man.
Yeah, good fucking times.
I do have one more question for you. I'm curious. I'm pretty sure everybody listening. I wanted to ask you this before.
Shoot.
But you said you went to college, got your bachelor's degree, enlisted in the military. Why enlist? Why not
good
go
question,
officer?
Bro. Good fucking question. Thank you for that. You're getting me like back on track. So, so when I first met with the recruiter, I was like, I want to be an officer, just because like you're young, you're naive, like you can have a basket weaving degree, and I'm not knocking off. I'm not knocking the O's like the officers, but doesn't matter. So like everybody thinks like this bachelor's degree shit is like the be all end all. It's not, especially like these days where education is becoming like so much more common. Back in the day, if you had a high school diploma like our parents and shit, you could have a totally normal life. They're kind of making a bachelor's degree the new norm, which is crazy. Whatever. So in the Air National Guard, there's a lot less officers, bro. So like my security forces squadron has about 100 troops, which is really small, but because we're the Guard, we have one commander. That's it. Because like our career field is like super NCO heavy, like with the shit that we do. Non-commissioned officer, which is like an enlisted troop, like a sergeant, shit like that. Now I'm currently a technical sergeant, which is an E6, by the way, just throwing that out there because we never got to that. But yeah, so my recruiter kept it real. Like he was a good fucking dude. He was actually, this is crazy. He was MARSOC in Fallujah. So he was literally a MARSOC guy. He went to Fallujah twice. And then after that, he was like, all right, I think I played with death enough. And like he came over to like the Air Force, and he was a firefighter. So he's like, actually, my favorite school I ever went to was Air Force Firefighter School. He's like, that is his, and he was a MARSOC guy. He's like, my favorite school I ever went to was Air Force Firefighter School. Did that, and now he's like, again, you got to make decisions in life, right? So he's like, I got a wife, kids, a family. What's a more stable job? Weekends off, holidays off, recruiter. So he got into the recruiter world, but he's the real fucking deal. He's not some pencil pusher sitting behind the desk. Like, dude kept it real. Just like Chris, like, like that's fine. In the Air Guard, a lot of people go enlisted, become an NCO, which is a non-commissioned officer. Like for those listening that are not military, then they commission into a slot whenever that opens up, if that's what you still want to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's fine. But now then, like I've been in coming up on 10 years. I've done a lot in a short amount of time. And I made E6 in a short amount of time, and I'm blessed for that. You know what I mean? But I love being an NCO. I fucking love it. It is the best job on the planet, especially in E6. Because like, once you get into E7, which is Master Sergeant and above in the Air Force, you're a senior non-commissioned officer, and you're kind of further away from your troops, right? So, and then like when you put on E5 in the Air Force, you're officially an NCO, but you're still like a junior NCO. But E6 is great, man, because you get respect. I run an entire squad at my base now. Like, so I have a whole squad of people. I have my own shift assigned to me. Like when we work 12-hour tours. We provide security 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at my base. There's 4 shifts. I just happen to be an E6 that has my own shift. I'm blessed. I have like, I have junior NCOs, I have airmen, and I have civilian contractors that work for me as well. So like you get to do cool shit, but you have the ear of your airmen, which is so important. Like you could still talk to them. They still trust you. You get a pulse for like what's going on every day, like, cause they're not afraid of you yet, to an extent. But I also have the ear of the senior NCOs where they respect me. Like, yo, Ryan squared the fuck away. He's doing his thing. He's an E6, but I can kind of like talk on both ends, but I'm out there, boots on the ground with my people, which I fucking love and I cherish that. Once you promote to master sergeant and senior NCO, man, you're going to get away from that shit. It sucks.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You're going to fly a desk. That's what they say in the Air Force. You know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, you can't make dick jokes no more.
Yeah, man. And you're really not. I like getting dirty. I like being in the fucking field. I like shooting. I like doing like our expeditionary deployment skills and all that stuff. I live for that shit. And I just like being with my dudes, like and girls, because we actually have, even though we're a very male dominated career field, we do have some fucking high speed, like hard charging females. Like in my squadron, when I first came in, we had maybe 1 or 2 females. Now we're up to like kind of 10, which is a lot out of like 100, believe it or not, like in our career field. So I cherish being an NCO, but that whole, and again, Air Force, as you know, very heavy on education, like super. So it's the hardest branch to get into, because we require the highest ASVAB scores out of all the branches of service. And then also every single person in the Air Force needs a DoD security clearance. Other jobs, you don't need that. Like in the Army, only certain jobs need that. In the Marines, only certain jobs need that. Every single job from our cook all the way up to like our cyber guys and our drone guys, and everybody needs some sort of a clearance at a minimum secret. Sometimes you can go higher to top secret, and then there's like Yankee White and all this other crazy shit. So that disqualifies a lot of people. It is what it is. So, and I got into trouble as a kid. I literally got in trouble with the law. I experimented with fucking weed and shit. I have nothing to hide. Like that's all in my paperwork. So that don't get that misconstrued that like you're gonna fucking like if you have a felony, rethink your life. You know what I mean? But again, just dumb shit. So, and I still got into the Air Force, man. Like, and again, I got hired by 2 fucking police departments, a K9 contracting company, and the Air Force, and I wasn't perfect as a kid. So don't get like, what's the word I'm looking for? Discouraged. It's possible.
Don't get all tangled up, you know?
Yeah, they're like you might have a kid. It's like a kid might be like, I want to go Air Force, but A, B, and C. It's like, no, like still try, man. So, but yeah, so I have no desire to be an officer anymore. I really don't, because I just love what the fuck I do. So good question, Ben.
Good shit, man. Good shit. Yeah, I get that question a lot, because people are like, oh, you went to college before you joined. Why didn't you become an officer? Because I joined the military for the reason that I want to get dirty. I wanted to join the military and like actually like no disrespect to any officers, but I wanted to like be in the military. I wanted to dig a 6-foot hole before lunch, and then after lunch put the dirt back in the hole. You know what I mean? Like,
and CB is a dope job, man. I know a lot about CBs, and they don't get enough respect, but that is a fucking cool job, like real talk. So
yeah, man. I told my recruiter too. I said, listen, I want to be in the Navy, but I don't want to go on a boat, and I want to be a CB. And he was like, this guy got his shit together, I guess, in a way. Like, I did a little bit of research to know that this is what I want to do, and this is, if I don't get it, I'm going next door, and next door as in the Air Force. And I was like, I know they have good HVAC as well, and I actually got to work with those guys, so that was pretty cool.
Actually, go ahead, bro.
Go for it.
No, go.
Oh yeah, I got to install an HVAC system for the fire department in Okinawa, Japan. That was kind of cool. All these firefighters, they like cook lunch for us, and we installed their HVAC system like on their roof, and they were like, "Holy shit! Like this is great." I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yo, so one of my best friends from the NYPD, he always wanted to be in the military, and he actually hit me up. He's like, "Yo, Chris, how the fuck do I get into the Air Guard?" And again, he was 26. I got him down here. Let's just real quick, I got him to enlist. He went Red Horse, which is basically like an Air Force CB.
Yep.
Motherfucker, in his first year, he went to Vegas for training. He went to California for training, and he went to Lithuania twice to go work with to build Lithuanian Special Forces barracks, which is actually a hot topic these days. Why? Because they border Russia. So And that's one fucking year as a brand new airman.
Wow.
And I'm like, his name's Brian. That's my dude. And he's like, Chris, like, I cannot thank you enough, man. And now
Yeah, this is
also, like,
badass.
you can still get health care for life as a fucking drill status guardsman. Second pension, you know what I mean? Because you're in the military. So even if you only do part-time, you will get some sort of a pension. And obviously VA, God forbid, if you need the VA, they'll take care of you. And now, actually, this past weekend was drill weekend at my base. My boy Tyler, another NYPD guy, who's now a Fed, switched over to the Fed. I got him to move out of Staten Island. He bought a house with his wife in Pennsylvania. I'm fucking bringing these people down.
Yeah.
And
I already got my house, so you guys come here now.
Yeah. And he just met with a recruiter, and he's trying to do so again, Air Force, a lot of cool shit too. He either wants to work with the drones or he wants to work with like our cyber guys, which is like hacking, counter hacking, stuff like that. He's highly intelligent.
That
But
was a job you were supposed to get before.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm good. But again, another dude later in life. It's never too late. I only met him in the NYPD. He took a whole course of his own life. He's still my boy. I brought him to the recruiter literally yesterday. Like, I don't know when the shit's gonna air, but literally yesterday, brought him to a recruiter. So I got like 2. I'm like, who's next? Like, texting my guys, like, let's go. You know what I mean? So
you can do the same if they want to be on the pod, man. Like, honestly,
dude, a lot of cool.
I don't give a shit. I'm down for whatever. It'll be cool to hear what I really want to talk to is someone who just came out of boot camp. I guess that's probably what's next for me, right? Like,
sure,
I went to boot camp in 2017. I want to know like what it's like post COVID. You know, I want to see man. like what someone's life was like when I was in high school. Like, I had a phone, but it's not what it was today, right? So I want to see like what the story, how it changed. You know,
I'm not trying to knock it, bro. Like, we sound so old, even though we're not, dude. I have, and again in the Guard, it's a little different, man. I have versus active duty. I have a guy. He's one of my mentors. He's a complete goofball, but he has been a master sergeant. Let's just an E7 for like 14 years. That's some people's whole fucking career.
Yep.
In the Guard, you can do that. And then so he came in like in like the 80s or some shit. And I actually had an E8, a senior master sergeant that was like right at the end of Vietnam. Like, so like that shit you see in the Guard that you don't necessarily see in active duty. So the shit that they talk about compared to now. And now, again, I'm a 10-year E6 NCO, and I'm getting airmen coming home. And it's just like, again, I don't want to knock it. Their military bearing and discipline is sort of lacking in certain areas compared to what it used to be. And again, my shit was not that difficult. I'm going to be honest. For me, it might have been the hardest thing that someone else went through, but I was like, kind of like whatever. But and again, like a lot of these kids got robbed because like COVID changed so much. So the COVID airmen that were coming home, like not being able to do AB. I'm also a trainer with the Air Force, so like not being able to do this training, that training. Like, it falls on me back at the home base to teach them the shit that they should have learned in the academy. So, and then again, I have airmen that are absolutely fucking phenomenal, but they're like 1 out of 10, you know? So, like I get 10 airmen, one's like a super performer, which I guess it's kind of normal regardless, but then the military bearing, the discipline, sort of changed, you know? That's just the current state of, you know, the DOD right now, I guess. So things are changing, maybe for the better, because like, don't ask me to go into like a skiff and fucking fight the Chinese via cyber. I don't know. I can barely use a fucking iPhone. Trying to sign on to this shit to talk to you. I was like, oh my God, you know. So but the kids these days know that shit. So God bless them. And that's the future of warfare. I don't care what anybody says. So, you know, obviously, you know, you can look at Russia, Ukraine. We haven't changed much since World War I with the trenches. Like that's kind of fascinating if you look at it that way. Like, superpower Russia and then Ukraine literally have dug trenches and are fighting that way. Like, that's World War I shit. So war hasn't changed too much, but they have drones now, which are flying over the trenches. That's changed, you know? So yes and no. But again, the intelligence level that the new airmen or new sailors coming home, like, they're smarter in other ways than we are. So, you know, that would be fascinating to get like a new troop home on your podcast. And obviously I'll hit up my dudes as well.
One thing I do, man. We always hear Semper Gumby, and we always hear improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's just all it is, man.
One thing I do want to touch on before we wrap up is I just graduated a school because this is a super unknown thing called Air Advisor. So literally graduated a few weeks ago. It's at McGuire Air Force Base, which is obviously Joint Base, McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst. Obviously, like Lakehurst is Navy, Fort Dix
Yep.
is Army, McGuire's Air Force. Like for those that listening that aren't familiar, I'm only 35, 40 minutes from there. That's like my big brother base. Like if I had like an active duty base, it's like my big brother. That's them. So we got super fortunate to secure these seats. We're like, they've been around for like 12, 13 years. I don't know, like that school. But I think we're only the second class ever that had Air National Guard guys to go through. And there was only like 4 of us that went through, I think. So it's super, it's neat. It's open to 18 different Air Force jobs. It's not a security forces school. And it's open to officers and enlisted, which is also very rare because like, I really don't go to schools like that. So we had like pilots, we had doctors, we had engineers, we had security forces. And it's all about going overseas and working by, with, and through foreign militaries, foreign Air Force. So like you will be advising foreign Air Forces and shit like that, which is a super cool mission that people don't appreciate enough. Like basically all in the interest of America, like standing up these foreign militaries. And then the Air National Guard, we have partners that are overseas. So like Pennsylvania, where I am, our state partner is Lithuania. So like we go over there and we work with the Lithuanians quite often. Ukraine, for example, Ukraine works with California, and a big, like what they're looking at now is like, why has Ukraine been so successful against Russia? If they say it's because of the state partner program with the National Guard. So the Ukrainians had been training with the California Guard for fucking like 10 years leading up to this. And now they're kind of like really holding their own against against Russia. So I have guys, not OPSEC, they're going all over the globe, South America, Africa, Middle East, Europe, shit like that. The school was fucking awesome. And again, it's like shoulder to shoulder. So like when I deploy this coming year, I'm going over to Europe to fucking work with a foreign security forces. We only deploy in like 4 or 5 man teams, and then everything else is through the host nation country, which is pretty fucking dope. And again, like, hot topic, like you got Russia, who's angry. They border all these NATO countries, so it's super relevant. And then obviously, like we see what's going on with Palestine and Israel, like AFCENT is heating back up. So like going overseas and making sure your partners are ready. And also like a lot of it has to do with sales too, like selling equipment, aircraft, weapons, shit like that. Like that's all stuff that's people are like, how the fuck does that work? Well, Air Advisor is part of that. And Army has advisors and shit like that. Like it's not just an Air Force thing, but it's kind of like a lesser unknown school. Maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know. But I just graduated a few weeks ago and it's fucking, I'm so excited to like actually start my job overseas.
Yeah, bro, good shit.
Yeah, man. Fucking hype. So what else you got for me?
Oh, what do I got for you? What do you got for me?
I don't know, bro.
Dude, this is wild. Honestly, this is a great episode. You got some story, dude. You should write a book.
Well,
have you ever thought about it? I mean, you might have to like learn some words and shit.
Yeah, I'm security forces, bro. Take it easy.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, this has been great, dude.
Thanks.
I wish we could get.
Go ahead.
Let's start all over. I'm joking, dude.
No, I mean, I'm not like real shit. Like I kind of just I don't I don't want this is your podcast, so like I can talk for fucking 5 hours, but I know you got shit to do, and so whatever.
You're good, bro. Like, it's Sunday,
we're scraping the surface.
All these teams playing today suck, anyways. So.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
hey, in the beginning of the episode, you said you had something for me. What was it?
Stand by. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go.
1 sec, Ben. Hold on. Fucking hold on, bro.
Oh my god.
Wait a second, dude. And then let's see. Dude.
Oh my
fly,
god.
Eagles fly, baby.
Oh god. I want to know who invented that song and who made that song, because that song is like, it's time for something new. You know what I mean?
You know why you hear it so often? Because we fucking win, Vinny. That's why.
Oh, is that why? Good to know.
Shit.
I went to an Eagles game this year because I'm a Vikings fan, right? So I went to the Eagles Viking game in Philadelphia.
You went to Philly?
Yeah, I went to Philly to go see the Vikings. Did you wear
your Viking shit?
Nope, I wore a Bobby Boucher jersey. But people didn't even like that. They were like calling me names and like telling me to go like F myself. They're like, why would you wear a Bobby Boucher jersey here? I'm like, yo, because I like football. My dad and my wife. And my
Nice,
wife
dude.
was wearing just like a black shirt. My dad was wearing like a red shirt. Like we
That
were
might have
like,
been the smartest thing you ever did, though, is fucking not wear. I'm dead ass, like not wear
yeah,
Vikings
no,
shit.
100%. I
So
mean, it was a bad game for you. Those of you who don't know, it was like it was a shutout. I think they lost like 42-0.
yeah,
So it was honestly a bad game. But I was just like, dude, this is terrible.
it's so real shit. Like going to a game at the Link, which is Lincoln Financial Field, next
Yeah,
level experience. I don't care if you're an Eagles or not, an Eagles fan or not. It is a great fucking time. Just be careful. Like I'm not. People are sick. Like there's nut jobs out there, man.
yeah,
Especially with the Eagles fans. But it is a great dude. The atmosphere is electric. If they're playing a Sunday night, Monday night football, 8:20, 8:30 at night, they're fucking there. Like
yep,
literally, the gates don't even open yet. They're in the street. Like I'm talking like 5 o'clock in the morning, like fucking
yep.
tailgating. And then
Tailgating,
obviously, like,
yep.
did you go to Xfinity, the big ass bar, Xfinity Live?
Yeah.
Yep.
I went
Yeah.
there before, so I didn't go there for that game because
Okay.
just too many fucking Eagles fans. I don't feel like dealing with it. But I went to go see Adam Sandler live at the Wells Fargo Center.
Oh, nice.
And I
Huge
went to
fan.
the
Huge
Xfinity
fan.
bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I love Adam.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
hilarious, bro. No, but Xfinity's cool because it's like for those listening, it's like 2, 3, I think it's like 4 bars within one giant sports bar. What's cool about Philadelphia too, which a lot of cities are different, is every single stadium is in one parking lot. So you got
Yes,
like the
exactly.
Phillies, you got the Eagles, the Sixers and the Flyers play in the same place, obviously Wells Fargo, and then this giant bar right there, and they have like a cowboy bar. You can go ride a bull. I've been there, done that. It's on my Instagram. Not good to look at. You know, so I got my ass chucked, but and I'm too big for that shit, bro. So
Yeah.
that was a good time, but like it's a good place, Maggie. You don't gotta go anywhere. I also do color guard, like kind of like honor guard, color guard for the Sixers pretty often, which is cool too. Little side note. Obviously, I like helping out recruiting. I'm also a giant Sixers fan, so they scratch my back, I scratch their back. So I get to go. Just for anybody listening, it's fucking cool as shit. I go down into the tunnels. I eat dinner with the media. It's all provided by the Sixers. I practice a little bit, rifles, flags. I'm in my dress blues, obviously. I go out on the court. We do the national anthem, and then I come back and I get changed and I watch the game for free. So that's like some
sick.
that's some cool. I do that about five to 10 times a year. Just because I love the Sixers. I grew up loving Allen Iverson. So I was the kid in Staten Island wearing like a fucking AI jersey. That's my
Every
dude.
kid in Staten Island wore an AI jersey because everyone thought they could be him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah,
And
exactly.
That movie Like Mike came out and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is crazy."
And the Knicks fucking suck, and the Nets still belong in Jersey. That's just how I feel. So,
Bro, yeah, well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, they put the Barclays Center in like the middle of like everything. I'm like, wait, bro, you ain't fit nothing here. And the stadium is like shit because you gotta like you sit in the nosebleeds, and it's not like you can sit and drink. You're like sitting and dude, it's so annoying.
I haven't been there yet, man. I'd
No?
like to go. I'd like to go see a game, but like, yeah. And then the Nets suck too. Like, so it is what it is.
They do. It was better when they shared the stadium with the Devils, and
I know. I remember that. I remember like Jason Kidd playing there, and even those jerseys were nicer in my opinion. So
yeah, bro. Richard Jefferson, Jason Kidd, and Vince Carter. That was the trio. Like that's
Keith Van Horn. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
That dude sucked. He played for the Nets.
That dude sucked.
Yeah,
okay,
I remember him being there, like just going to that game, and I'm like, damn, the Nets stink, man.
Yeah, dude. Basketball's not really my forte. I mean, to be honest with you, neither really is football. I'm not really a huge football fan. Like, I can't tell you, like, the whole roster. I don't really know. But when it comes to hockey, that's where all my bread and butter is. I love hockey.
I got you.
There's something about getting grown men just beating the shit out of each other, and the referee like not blowing the whistle. He's like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah, it's a real man sport, bro. They'll get their fucking teeth knocked out and they'll keep playing. So
yeah, and I don't give a shit if it's raining or snowing outside because we're closed and we're indoors. I love it.
For sure,
it's just like when it's pitch black, it's cold in there. You smell Stella all over the floor, and the whole stadium just goes black. And then all of a sudden you hear the music. And then the lights go on and the ice lights up. I'm like, oh my God, this is unreal.
Watching a hockey game at Madison Square Garden too is next level. So
that fucking stadium rocks. It's unbelievable. Like how it's one of the oldest stadiums. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of the first stadiums.
Yep.
So when I introduced hockey to my wife, that was the first place I took her. I said, I know it's the Rangers, I know, but if I'm going to show you hockey, I have to show it to you the right way, right? So like. Even a Flyers game. I've been to Flyers games before because I love the atmosphere there. The stadium, the fans, like the love for the sport. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, don't wear an opposing team's jersey, but You know,
Vin, hold on. Let me my fucking dog. One sec. Hold on.
you're good, man.
One
You're
sec. I'll be
good.
right back. Hold on.
Yeah, of course, man. Hey, while Chris steps away, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, man. This has honestly been, a really good episode. I was not expecting any of this to pop off with Chris, man. He's been, again, big shout out to Chris. He has been following me almost since day one. He's been liking everything I post. He's been a real true fan, and today I am honored and very excited to be having him on this podcast. I had no idea about anything that we talked about today. Today was as much as a shell shock for me as it probably is for you. You were like, "Oh, this is just another episode popping up," and let's hear some stories. But nah, Chris has honestly been, dude. I want to come visit, dude. Chris. You're gonna hear this. Oh, you can hear me. God damn it.
Yeah. I'm back.
No, you're good.
The poor girl, she's been sitting here fucking behaving herself for, I don't even know how long we've been talking for. So,
no, you're good. It's been, we're about to hit 2 hours, and let's count down 10, 9, 8.
Nice.
No, honestly, I was just telling the people, I was like, yo, like, kind of like you. I know I talked about it maybe before, but like, since day one, you've been following me and like help me give that motivation. I really do appreciate it. I said, I think before the AirPods cut back in, I was like, I hope this motherfucker invites me over.
Yeah, dude, anytime. I'm not fucking around. I really, and like, it sucks too. Like, your cousin Dylan, I reached out to him, I think when he bought his house, like a summer or two ago, and he's like, "Yo, you're welcome anytime." And I literally haven't seen him since high school. It's just like life gets in the way, but like you, not fucking around. Like, come on down. You're not far. You're really not. I'll have you over. Bring the wife, whatever. Invite Dylan. I don't know how close you are with him. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like my door's always open. Obviously, this is what's dope about the veteran community, man. Like, never met you in my life. Been following your podcast. I appreciate what you're doing. I kind of want to do what you're doing. Like, we were talking offline about maybe like I could start my own podcast, and I got a lot to learn from you. Like, you're a wealth of information. But this is it, man. Like, you're Navy, I'm Air Force. You're like, we just so happen to be from like the same part of the country and shit like that. But again, it's bizarre. It's like I feel like I actually know you. And again, bro, you're welcome any fucking time. You got my number. Like, text me. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, so, bro. It's weird. It's weird, bro. It's so cool. It's like like when you're in like the veteran community or you're in the military community, it's like it's that different level of trust that you have with somebody where you're like, this person's good. Like they're, like he checks out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's weird.
Well, it's like what so is cool, it? Like, I don't know if it was a Bronx Tale or Good Guy or Good Fella. He's a good fella. He's a good fella.
You know, he's Goodfellas. Yeah, I love how you just quoted the name of the movie, and you're like, I don't know what it is. Yeah, he's a good fella. Yeah.
That's like religion. That's religion in Staten Island, by the way. So Goodfellas is religion.
Yeah. Hey, the Goodfellas of Staten Island. That might be the title for this one.
Bro, they filmed the Godfather on Staten Island. I don't know if people know that or not. So that is heavy Italian fucking mafia territory. Whatever. Anyway, not to go down a rabbit hole.
You're good, Chris. Chris, do you have any questions for me?
I not so much questions, man. I just appreciate you inviting me on, like real for real. Like I appreciate you inviting me on, letting me tell a little bit of my story. Obviously, I'm not shitting you. Like we could talk for 5 hours. We could cut this into 2 episodes. But it means a lot. Like also just like talking about shit that I've seen, I've been through, and I only touched on this much, man. Like trauma doesn't have to be like going to Afghanistan and fucking getting blown up. Although I respect that with every ounce of my being. Like we've all been through shit. Seen shit. Like some of the stuff I saw as a civilian cop, like it's just like your brain can't comprehend it. Just talking and being able to literally get that out of your system and like verbalize that to another human being. I still work on my mental health a lot. I kind of not as much as I should. Like a big outlet for me is the gym. Everybody has an outlet. That's something I wanted to say today. Whether like my sister, she's been through a lot too. She's one of my heroes. And my mom too, like, a big thing that they do is read. Like they just kind of like to read. She goes and talks to like a professional. I've started thinking about getting back into just talking with a professional, but my outlet that I found is the gym. And another one of my heroes is my fiance, Melanie. She is my absolute best friend on the planet. I actually met her through one of my best friends in the military, which is just insane. He kind of introduced us. That's his cousin, and now we're engaged. So it's just weird how things work out. But she totally understands. Like having like a partner like that as well. Like it's not easy, bro. I work 12 or 14-hour days, every day, and then I also have to get the gym in. And I tell her, I'm like, Mel, like that is for my mental and emotional health. I understand I have to take a PT test every year, but that's not the point. If I don't go, I'm going to probably have a bad day. And she completely understands that. So having Melanie on board as well, I just wanted to shout her out, man. She's a fucking hero too. She actually lost her mom about a year ago. Her mom was 52 years old. She got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 2 months later, she's gone. Like that's fucking trauma, bro. Like you literally are with your mom, and 2 months later, she's gone. Like that's shit that people don't understand. Like you don't have to get shot at, even though I have with the police department and shit. You don't have to see combat to have trauma, and like having a voice and a platform of what you're doing, bro, is so incredibly admirable. I don't think you understand how many people you're probably helping. Like talking to Hector, that dude's been through some shit, and Hector being able to talk to you and kind of like not so much relive what he went through, but like just like getting that out of him and telling his story, that definitely helps, bro. Like so,
yeah, man.
I just wanted to put that out. I'm so fucking incredibly grateful for you and what you're doing, and I want you to know that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I wish I can get up right now and give you a hug.
You gotta come.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, though. If the Eagles score, I won't tell them go fuck themselves today. All right? How about that? All
right. We'll start there.
I'll give a little one of these.
Well, they're gonna beat the piss out of the Niners. Just throwing that out there. So
yeah. So people are gonna see this, after the game.
Okay.
We'll release this one probably, in the near future.
Okay.
But people are gonna hear this and be like, "Damn, I remember that game."
Yeah.
Damn, the Niners shut him out. That's crazy.
Oh my god.
I bet
dude.
Chris went to the gym a lot that day.
Melody's like, "Where are you?" I'm getting a 3-hour session in.
Yeah. I'm driving to the link.
Yeah.
I gotta go see him. I gotta make sure they're okay.
Real shit. I don't care if it's a Flyers game. I don't care if it's an Eagles game. Come on down. Well, I guess that would be north, and then we'll link up and we'll go from there.
Well, I think after after my contract here, because I'm going to Norfolk soon enough.
All right, I deployed out of there. That's cool.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
I think home base for me and my wife is probably going to be somewhere in Jersey, around like the Newark area, to stay close to not only my family. So when we start having kids and all that, grandma, grandpa, they're all close by. But it's also like I can fart in any direction on the tri-state area, and I'll be in a different state in no time. On the West Coast, it's a lot harder to do that. It's like. Yeah. California, beautiful beaches, and then it's like 9 hours of desert, and then you're like, okay, well, civilization.
No, dude, that's what's so nice. Like you and I, we can go watch the Giants or the Jets in less than an hour. Like where I live, I can watch the Eagles. I can shoot down to Baltimore, watch the Ravens. I can I can watch the Redskins or whatever the fuck they're called now. I can go watch the Mets, the Yankees, and that's all within maybe 2 hours. That's what's the best part. Best part.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Chris, this has been honestly awesome, man. I just want to say thank you for the bottom of my heart coming out here. Hey, if you want, let me know, man. Maybe we can have Chris co-host some episodes. We'll come on maybe for a part 2.
Oh,
let me know. Let me know down in the comment section below. I honestly like just your enthusiasm and just your energy, dude. Like, there's no, I don't get paid out here. I don't make any money. So if you want to hop on for an episode, dude, this is my formal invitation. Be my guest. You know what I'm saying?
You got my number. Fuck, I'm dead serious. Hit me up. We'll do it.
Yeah, bro. I'm down. Let's do it, baby. Staten Island taking over the world. Yeah. The University of Victory Boulevard taking over the world.
Dude, we got. I don't know. We got to take care of the veteran community, and I don't care if it's one podcast at a time. I don't care if it's one person, one view or fucking 1,000 views makes no difference to me. That's sort of like 9/11 was my passion to get into the military. Obviously, this career at some point, whether it's 10 years from now, whatever's going to come to an end, what the hell am I going to do after the military is a big topic, and helping the veteran community is something I'm super passionate about. So maybe this is the start of it. Like, we'll see. We'll see where life takes us. So
yeah, bro, we out here, bro. If anybody listening, if you're going through it, hey, bro, reach out. I don't give a shit who you are. You can
maybe
hit me
you can put some hotlines in the fucking comments or some shit like that.
Yeah, I always do. I always drop even on YouTube on my little video. I always drop like a veteran crisis line.
Nice.
the quick number for it, just letting people know, like, hey, bro, you're not alone, bro, and I'm just another human. We all wipe our ass with the same kind of toilet paper. You know, it doesn't
Yep,
make me any
you're
different
right.
than you. So hit me up if you guys need anything. I'm sure you can hit Chris Ryan up if you guys need anything.
Yes, sir.
We out here, baby. The Fighting for Freedom podcast, fighting for freedom, one podcast at a time.
Great
Until
job, dude.
next time, guys. Take care, Chris.
Thank you, brother.
Of course.